Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Probacus, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Hello, Nungde, good afternoon. I hope you guys are well. It's funny you mentioned about deserving a coffee, Probacus, because I have, as my beverage today, a coffee. It's actually a caramel popcorn flavored coffee, which I'm really excited about. Good morning, Kat. How are you? But yes, it's from this company called Beanies, and they do these like different flavored coffees. I had one. I bought like a sampler pack I found at some store when I was on holiday with Liam's family, and I found out places like TK Maxx seem to stock them. And so I picked up a few different flavors yesterday when I ventured out of the house. So this one's caramel popcorn flavor. I also have cherry Bakewell flavored and a double chocolate flavor. So I've had the cherry Bakewell one this morning. Now we're trying caramel popcorn. I'm pretty sure they do a toasted marshmallow one, which I would covet, but they didn't have it at the store, so I couldn't get it. But you know me, I love me some toasted marshmallows. But yeah, I hope you guys are well. No, it's all Kappa. That's all right though. I hope you guys are having a good day. Mine's been going not too bad. I had a list of tasks to do today, and I've crushed quite a few of them, which is excellent. I was feeling a little bit like I was like dropping the ball on things yesterday. Like I was going through and trying to, like I just felt like I was forgetting a lot of like little things I needed to do. So power of a list, man. As soon as I give myself a list, I have the ability to give myself check marks. All of a sudden, my mind is clear. My mind is focused. I know what I'm doing. Nungde, you said favorite Ghibli film, either Howl's Moving Castle or Kiki's Delivery Service. Obviously, I have a bias. I have a preference. You all know that my number one Ghibli film is Howl's Moving Castle. I think Kiki's is not even in my top 10, or it might be in my top 10. Just edged out. Yeah, I think it's within the top 10, but not top 5. Only because upon rewatching, I realized not a whole lot happens in that film. It's a lot of just vibes. And the vibes are immaculate. But there wasn't a whole lot going on for me with it. But yeah. I know. Okay, Probacus, having not, having no favorite. Let me see where it is. Let me see where Kiki is. Though I did recently watch a really interesting video essay about how relatable Kiki's Delivery Service is as like somebody coming into their adulthood, because obviously the entire story that's happening with Kiki's Delivery Service is happening when she's 13, where she's like moving away from home. She's trying to establish her first job. You know, she commodified a hobby that she enjoyed and got burnt out, and like all these different things that like ring very, very true to like the modern adult trying to exist in the world, and like those first experiences. So upon watching that, I was like, that's very interesting. That is something that makes a lot of sense to me. Where is my list? But yeah, where is it? It's number 13. It's not even in my top 10. Ooh, whoops. There's a lot of other good movies. I don't know, man. Ghibli just has so many good ones. It's not like Kiki's Delivery Service is bad. It's that there are so many other ones that I was like, they're just that little bit better. But obviously, Howl's Moving Castle is 100%. That is the hill with which I die on. But yeah, I hope everyone is well. It's Thursday. We've almost made it to the end of the week, guys. You've made it to the halfway point. High five. Past the halfway point. High five. Kudos to you. We are kicking off exactly where we left off on Tuesday. So, again, this is the final chunk of the current page that we are working on. Whether or not we are in a place to complete that. Not a bad hill to die on. Have you seen the film, Probacus? Have you seen Howl's Moving Castle? Have you seen any Studio Ghibli films? Don't worry, you won't be judged if you haven't. You've seen all of them, really? That's amazing. I actually found out recently that they're going to be, right? Truly, yeah. You're like, let's film marathon. Let's go through the entire filmography of a production company. I could see that, definitely. But yeah, I found it recently. I don't know when it is, but it looks like the stage adaptation of Spirited Away is coming to London, which is very exciting. I'm not sure when, but that's really cool. I'm actually going to see the My Neighbor Totoro production that's happening right now. I think, no, it starts in November. So November to like middle of like 2024. I think that's the run that they're doing for My Neighbor Totoro, because they did it last year and it like completely sold out for like the short month like round they were doing. And so they were like, well, we got to bring it back. And thank God they did, because I couldn't get tickets the first time around. Oh, you love Totoro. You didn't know why. Aw. Yeah, it's really cute. Like when you think about it, it's like, I don't know, there's a lot going on, right? It's basically, I can see why it could make you sad, Probacus, because it's basically about how two children are coping with the fact that their parent has an illness and they're trying to make the most of a situation, right? And there's a lot of fantasy and wonderful components to that. Kaya Rose, I love your crotches. Think we've seen. Oh, really? That's amazing. Yeah, this is a free cross stitch pattern by Stitchy Nova. I think on their Instagram they have like a Google Doc with all of their free patterns. They do a lot of different pop culture ones, and this is the only like Howl's Moving Castle cross stitch of the actual castle that I've been able to find in its like entirety. I remember I found one that I was like, oh, this is amazing. I found it, but it was like I don't know what it was called. It was almost like a geek version of Howl's Moving Castle, and they took the structure of Howl's Moving Castle and like added elements, like for instance, like the towers were like, one was of the Death Star, and like there was a turret from like another film, and like it combined all these like sci-fi whatever like nerdy geeky things and symbols to create Howl's Moving Castle, but it wasn't actually Howl's Moving Castle. And I was like, wait. That's not what I wanted. I want the actual legitimate castle. So now I have it, and it's very exciting. But yeah, no, I don't know if I've seen a completed version of it, but that's amazing. Yeah, apparently, according to the Stitch app that I use, we are over 50% of the way finished the project. I have a hard time believing it, but also when I do think about it, I think there's like a little section here and like smaller. These are the biggest. I think the sections we're doing now are the current like full coverage pages. So maybe we are closer to the finish line than I think. Oh, it hasn't said, this one doesn't have any backstitch, I don't think. There's no backstitching on this one. So that's really interesting. I wonder which one you've seen, because that would be really cool. Because I feel like backstitching always really makes a lot of projects pop. Whereas this pattern doesn't At least from what I can see. Maybe I'm not reading the pattern properly. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's actually any back stitch on it. I think it just uses like the stitching lines to sort of create shadows and things as opposed to the actual pattern itself. Yeah. That would be cool though, because I wonder, that would probably be really amazing. But yeah, no, this backstitch free, baby. Which is, I actually quite enjoy backstitching. But maybe on a project of this size, I could see, yeah, if you were to backstitch every single formation and element of the project, that would be nuts. But yeah, this one, no things. But yeah, if you, I think they are Stitchy Nova on Instagram. Let me just double check. I don't wanna send you in the wrong direction. Stitchy Nova. Yeah. At Stitchy Nova on Instagram, and they have a link tree, and then there's a free patterns. They also have an Etsy with other things as well. But yeah, there's an entire Google Doc full of different things. Oh, it looks like they now have a Halloween Gigi pattern as well. I've not seen that yet. That's cute. Look at that. Speaking of Kiki's delivery service, that's really cute. But yeah, so they have a bunch of free patterns. Trying to see what other ones that they've done. Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle. Oh, they've done a Totoro as well. Oh, this one's cute too. Look at that one. It's the mini Totoros. Honestly, same cat. They also do, I feel like they do, wasn't there that, there's like this graphic novel series? No, there's a graphic novel series, what is it called? Where it's about like the gods of Olympus or whatever, and so I think she's done a few patterns. So this is like her Persephone one. But isn't it like Persephone's pink and Hades is blue, the color scheme? I cannot remember for the life of me what the name of this manga or graphic novel series was. I think it started as like a free thing on Instagram. But yeah, they have, I don't know what this is. Oh, they have like some Sailor Moon stuff. They have some Steven Universe stuff. Oh, they have something from Bee and Puppy Cat, Hello Kitty. They have things from basically fandoms that I'm not a part of. Here, I will link it. Then they also have an Etsy page where they have like more stuff. Let me pull that up for you. There we go. And then if you go into their link tree on their profile, it will then take you to their Sailor Moon patterns, free patterns, and then their Etsy page. And then you can peruse at your leisure. But yeah, so that's where this pattern is from. And then, yeah, it seems like there are quite a few other ones. Not Ghibli related specifically, but just all sorts of different ones. But I'm very thankful for this one. Because like I said, for whatever reason, to find one of like just the castle was very difficult to find for whatever reason. Probably because it's just so detailed. Like I have a theory that maybe this pattern is like, maybe it started out as a screen grab of like a poster or like a still from the film. background removed and then punched it through like a software, because there's different like cross-stitching softwares that you can input photos that then will turn them into cross stitches. But obviously if you want it super detailed, then it will like make it massive and tiny. So this is what this is. So it's teeny tiny stitches for a massive project. I don't actually know how big the final project is going to be, because I originally, the key here says the finished project is going to be like 42 centimeters by like 59 centimeters. So I was like, oh shit. So I made sure to like give myself so much Aida cloth. But then I think I read something either on Instagram or somewhere where I think, or maybe it was on Reddit or something, of this project, and they were like, yeah, that's like what the software spit out, but it's not accurate to what the actual finished size of the project is. So I do think I have so much extra Aida cloth on here, but that's okay, because I think I'll just cut off the excess, and if there's like so much, then I can like use it to make little cross stitches and stuff like that. So I'm not too concerned about it. I have Aida to spare, so I'm not that broken up about overestimating. I'd rather overestimate the amount of fabric I need for a project than to underestimate it, because that would be tragic. I've done that before, actually. I did a Halloween cross stitch, and luckily I managed to make it work, but it was one of those ones where it was almost like a sampler in the way it was done. But you know how there's like a surged edge of like the end of certain fabrics? I measured it to that edge, not counting for the fact that like that finished surged edge is obviously unusable fabric for the sense of like what you're working with. So I was getting to the end and I'm like, I'm gonna run out of fabric. So I had to like condense the last few lines, or like not space it properly so it's a bit smushed. But yeah, lesson learned. More Aida is better than less Aida. Or I guess fabric in general, because you can use many different types of fabrics. But yeah. So like I said, I ventured out of the house. It was pissing down with rain. I didn't really want to, but I mustered the courage to leave the house. I always leave the house at least once a day, because obviously if I'm stuck inside, I tend to go a bit stir crazy, and my mental health decides to be like, listen, you need to go touch grass. And so I always take my dog for a walk every morning, but then it's the second time of leaving the house that I'm like, do I really want to? Can I be bothered? But I also need to go grocery shopping because I was running out of breakfast food options, so it was becoming a dire situation, so I managed to get my shit together. I have 2 full coverage projects, and I know the 8 is too short, but it was all I could get a hold of at the time because Hobbycraft only sold. Yeah! If I could read and cross stitch at the same time, I would get so much cross stitch on. That's true. I guess that's why I know one of the things that I was doing was listening to audiobooks, but then obviously if you have a stash of books or the books that you're reading don't come in an audio format, then it doesn't work. But that's usually how I try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One, I'll just cut off one side of the pattern that is mostly background, and the other I'll attach more Aida when I get to it. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's clever. I've never like surgically attached or surgically repaired Aida. When Shadow was really little, he chewed a hole in my like linen cross stitch project, but I found out that there's a way that I can I was able to repair it, but that was for that type of fabric. I've never experienced it with linen, but there must be a way obviously to like blend the fibers to that, so that's really cool. Frank and Aida, especially too if it's like a full coverage piece, because then the stitches will be covering it, so you won't actually see any of the seams when you do too. This way you can just layer new Aida since, yeah, exactly. The stitches will hold the new piece in place. That's so clever. That's really good. I like that. I can't listen to Smut I Turn like a tomato. I'm fine reading it. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I was actually listening to, so one of the podcasts that I to be fair, it's so interesting. I have certain podcasts that I listen to, just the audio version, and I have other podcasts that I watch on YouTube. I don't know why, like some of them I prefer listening to versus some watching. But anyway, so the one that I watch, you can do that if there's a hole and tear in the Aida. I think I do remember seeing something like that. I think you're right. That's really cool. I'm excited to see that happen. Because it's one of those things, like, I hear about it, but then it's like when you actually experience it or see it, then you're like, damn, that's amazing that happens. It's different reading the words, but having a person growl in the mic for an audiobook, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like having somebody, like, dirty talk in your ear, kind of. And you're like, no, maybe not. But anyway, so I listened to this podcast, Vulnerable, which was run by Christy Carlson Romano, who is Ren Stevens of Even Stevens and Kim Possible fame. And so she has this podcast called Vulnerable, and so the last one I listened to, she was interviewing a girl, I think her name's Maitland, so I think she was like a secondary character on Boy Meets World, and when that ended, when she got older, she decided to get into the adult entertainment industry. So Christy Carlson Romano was interviewing her because obviously she went from like Disney child star to adult entertainment actress, and what that entailed and what that looked like and stuff. And during the conversation, Christy had said that I guess there was a time where she was actually recording like smutty audiobooks as like a side hustle. Yeah, and she did a few of them. And then I guess over time, it was like they would maybe get progressively more and more like intense or whatever. And I guess, I don't know if she originally was under a pseudonym when she recorded them, but I don't know if she decided afterwards she was going to do a pseudonym or whatever. But yeah, apparently Christy Romano voiced some adult audiobooks at one point in her life. And I was like, that's really interesting. Because I'm like, yeah, I guess so. It's like, I'm always so used to like fiction books. I guess, you know, most adult entertainment books are also fiction, but you know what I mean? It was just like, oh yeah, that's also a thing. And the fact that she did it was kind of cool. But yeah, so apparently this girl Maitland, so she has like a memoir out. So I think that's why she was on the podcast, because she was promoting that, and then they were talking about stuff. Because obviously Christy worked with Will Friedle because he was Ron in Kim Possible, and then obviously he was also the older brother, I think his name is Eric, right, on Boy Meets World, and so he interacted with Maitland, so they had like a mutual friend, so they were able to like bond over that and stuff. It was cute. But yeah, it was interesting. And yeah, so apparently it's a thing. But you're right, I think you're right that it's different when you're reading something versus when you're listening to it of that nature, I think. But yes, also, so like I said, I made the arduous journey of leaving the house yesterday because I needed to go grocery shopping, but also I needed to go pick up a birthday present for somebody, and I had this idea because they are also Halloween stan such as I. Oh, and worse, because my mom and I share an Audible account. Yeah, that would be awkward. That would be a little cringy. You're like, no, it's not, no. But yeah, so I ventured back into TK Maxx, hence why I bought the beanies. IRL is weird. Can we go back to Mills? Yeah. But anyway, yes, so I ended up going to TK Maxx because I was looking for a specific Halloween decor item that I thought this person would like. They didn't have it at my store, which was annoying, so I ended up in, I would rather, so I ended up having to order it online. So it was kind of annoying, though, breaking out, yeah, The easiest way to make friends, too, is that you, like, shared a pencil crayon with somebody, and you're like, now we're best friends. But yeah, so I didn't find the thing, so I ended up walking around being like, oh, maybe I'll pick up something for myself. I don't want this to be like a completely wasted trip. And I got this new shirt. So you guys probably can't see what it says, and also it's backwards. But it says, know your mushrooms on it, and it has like a little mushroom design on it. And then, here, I'm gonna be weird for a second, but I'm gonna show you the back of the shirt. So we're gonna twist it around. Spin it around town, and then it says edible mushrooms, and then it has designs of all the different edible mushrooms on there. It has like portobello mushroom and chanterelle and oyster mushroom with like little designs on it on the back of the shirt. And it was like 10 pounds. And I was like, well, I need it. So it wasn't a complete loss of a journey. I ended up getting something else too that was like okay. But I got a cool shirt with mushrooms on it and it made me very happy. So yeah. Yeah, my best friend for several years was a kid in my class who got into class at the same time as me. Yeah, kid friendships are awesome. I always remember too, the way that my friend tells this story of how me and her started like becoming friends as a kid is they moved down the street. Hey, it doesn't take much, man. It doesn't take much. I just need to be fed and watered regularly, and I like cute things. And right now, I really like mushrooms, and so right now, I'm like, cute mushroom t-shirt. You know? But yeah, so my childhood friend, her family, they moved onto the same street as us, and it was winter time, and me and my brother were outside building snow forts, or like building snowmen or whatever. And so according to her, I don't remember how this worked, but I guess this is how she tells the story, is basically like her parents were walking down the street with them and were basically like, your kids, these are kids, play together. You know, they basically been like, these are my kids, and then my parents were like, these are my kids, and they were like, go play. And that was the start of our friendship. It was like, your kids, we're kids, let's play together. And so we met and built snow forts together. And we were like, this was before we started school, so I think we were in like junior kindergarten or maybe just started school, so we were like 4 or 5. So yeah, 5 years old, it was like, this is so-and-so, please go play. And then we played, and then we were friends for years and years and years. But yeah, because a lot of times the friendships that you make, and I think that's why it's so difficult to make friends as an adult as well, because when you're a kid, you're put into these like, usually it's school or it's daycare or something like that, where you're put into these circumstances where, like, not being funny, like, it's almost like you're like not trauma bonded, but it's a little bit like, oh, like this is just a circumstantial friendship. And obviously not all of those friendships end up working out. Like, you know, there was a lot of, I remember starting high school, and our cohort in high school, all the grade 9s, we were all in like the same classes together and like navigating this thing at the same time. So a lot of us would hang out because it was like, oh, okay, like we kind of vaguely know each other from different schools, or like, you know, there's sort of these like old elementary school sort of connections, and then, you know, whatever. So you sort of make these links up. And then obviously over time, you then find out of, you know, the 15 kids you're with that you all hang out with, you sort of realize, oh, I have more in common with this person than this person. And then the other friendships sort of naturally, organically happen while the other ones sort of fade away. But a lot of times it's like you would not have met those people if you didn't happen to be in the same math class in the 9th grade. You know what I mean? It's awful together until she moved away. So if you mess up, no recovery ever. Yeah. But yeah, it is interesting. But that's the thing, like I find, you know, unless, I think that's why a lot of people end up making friends with work colleagues, because that's like the next like environment that you occupy the majority of your time, you know what I mean? And so you end up, it's almost like, again, you're in a space that you have no choice but to sort of make that small talk, and then you eventually find out things about each other and whatever. The only unfortunate thing is obviously, I don't know, like as you get older, there's a bit more like nuance to friendship, I think, and there's different like levels to friendship. If you mess up, no dark souls. In what capacity, Probacus? In relationships or friendships or in life? But yeah, I don't know, like, obviously, again, because when you're a child making friends, like, there's, I don't know, like, it's a lot, yeah, it's not as nuanced, right? It's like, okay, does this person make you happy? Do you enjoy, like, you're bonded by more trivial things, I think, sometimes. It's like, oh, we happen to like the favorite TV show, or we both happen to, you know, be, like the same sport, or whatever. And then as you turn into an adult, like, you could like the same sport as another like colleague or another person, but then you get into these like non-tangible things, like, oh, what are your like values, what's your life path trajectory, like what, you know what I mean? And those are the things that solidify your friendships more solidly than like, oh, we both happen to like basketball or something like that. Hi, Galloway. Good morning to you. I hope things are well. I hope you're having a happy Thursday. Congratulations on getting through the halfway point of the week. We're celebrating that. We always do, little wins. Oh my God, someone rang the doorbell. Looks like they were going to sell something, so I'm not answering, but Kiddo had to shout for me from the living room that there's someone at the door so they know we're in. Oh no. Oh, Kiddo. See, he's so pure. So pure and innocent. He's like, doorbell rings, we answer door. And you're like, no, sweetie. There are reasons why we might not want to do that. Oh, no. I still didn't answer. Yeah, exactly. You're like, whatever, salesperson, fight me. Like, yeah. That's so funny. It just then feels awkward, doesn't it? But you're like, not awkward enough for me to do the thing. Yeah. I feel, yeah. It's either that, they're either trying to sell you something or they're trying to get you to, like, donate something. And I get that, you know. Canvassers are a thing. I had to do that, and I found that so awkward. We had this thing in high school that in order to graduate, one of the, like, things we need to do is we had to get 40 volunteer hours. So you could obviously get more or whatever, but the minimum was we had to volunteer for 40 hours to, like, basically get, like, a community service badge in a way. And, yeah, so one of the things I ended up doing one year, I don't even know how it happened, but I ended up canvassing for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. So I had to go door to door and ask people if they wanted to donate money. And I think maybe like one or two people did, and I genuinely think it's only because they knew me and like took pity on the fact that I was doing this. I watched back the ring footage and you can even hear him through that because the window is open. Oh no. Yeah. Listeners' reason algorithms exist. Yeah, my mom will straight up tell them I'm not interested, but I'm too nice. See, that's the thing too. I will listen to their spiel because I feel like they've practiced it and they've done whatever. I don't know. Like, in the instance, I don't know if it's nicer. Like, am I leading the canvasser on? You know what I mean? Like, am I leading you on by listening to your spiel and nodding along and being like, oh my God, you're doing such good work for like 10, 15 minutes. That happened on stream. Do you guys remember this? I was streaming and the doorbell rang and I thought it was a delivery because the person didn't go away. I thought I had to like sign something. And turns out it was somebody who was canvassing for, I think they were raising money for children with hearing impairments, and providing support to families who were parents who didn't have the hearing impairment and the child was born hearing impaired or something like that, or just other things, right? And so it was this guy's like first day on the job, and they even like do that thing where they're like, it's my very, like, you would be my very first customer, like it would be really amazing if you did, and like tell the spiel and talk about how great it is. And then I came back on stream and was like, so I just listened to a guy try to ask me for money for 15 minutes for me to just say no. And then I kind of felt bad. But at the same time, like, I've said before how there's so many charities out there and there's so many causes, and you just kind of like, you know, I don't know, it's one of those where like, does me giving like £5, because the other thing too, right, is a lot of these people, they want you to have a minimum donation and it'll be a minimum monthly donation, because obviously that makes sense. Like a one-off donation isn't really going to do shit in terms of these like causes, you know what I mean? Like it's like £5 one-off isn't really going to do anything, whereas like £5 continuously every month will then add up and eventually amount to something. But yeah, it's difficult because then you're like, well, there's other charities out there that I like either, you know, it sounds really bad to be like, oh, I feel more passionately about this sect of disenfranchised people than this sect of disenfranchised people, but you have to sort of pick your ballot, pick your, you know what I mean? Like, you got to pick your battles, and find causes that, you know, matter to you and mean something to you. But again, like I said, I don't know if it's worse for the canvasser to have me listen to their entire 15-minute spiel just for me to say no. Like, then I'm like, am I wasting your time, or am I like giving you practice to like, you know, raise awareness? You know what I mean? Because now I'm aware that these charities exist. Whereas if I just said like, no, I'm not interested, and like slam the door in their face, like then I would be a less informed citizen. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if I'm wasting their time by being a nice person and listening to them just to evidently say no. Or if I should take your mom's approach Nung Day and be like, nah, like out the gate. You know what I mean? I sold windows door to door, only lasted about 2 weeks on the job, felt gross. Yeah, that's always... Cold calls do feel... To be fair, when I even worked in retail, like I was in the store, and one of the things that they said to us is it's your job within the first like 10 seconds of somebody walking into the store to say hi to them and acknowledge them. And then obviously if you have any promotions and stuff like that, you're supposed to like get them in at the gate to be like, by the way, welcome to the store. Did you know this, and like overwhelm them with information. And I always felt really weird about that. Like, I can say hi to somebody as soon as they walk in the door. I'm like, oh my God, hi, like, how are you? Is there anything I can help you with today? And if they go, no, I'm just looking, the last thing I want to do is be like, but did you know this. They're going to be like, not looking here anymore. Just because that's the type of shopper I am. I'm like, if you come at me with like a million bits of information, I'll be like, yo, dude, slow your roll. You know what I mean? So it's totally counterintuitive to the way that I shop, but that's the way you're encouraged in sales to approach potential customers, because it's always about conversion, right? You want to be able to convert for every person that walks into the store. You want to be able to convert that into a sale, and so you do that by interacting with them, introducing stuff to them, whatever. But I think in some ways it does backfire on them, because then they'll be like, because sometimes people will be really rude. You'll be like, hi, welcome to the store. They'll be like, I'm just looking, and I'm like, damn, I just wanted to say hi, but okay, never mind. Like, they just like, do not talk to me. And I'm like, okay, I'll just be over here. Okay, let me know if you need anything. Sorry for existing. Like, have a nice day. It's difficult. If you get in a position where you wouldn't, yeah. Yeah, you can't help them all. Someone else just knocked. I don't know if it's the same person, probably, but again, kiddo shouted, so I opened it, not to be rude, and over the doorbell, my mom told him we're not interested. He was selling Talk Internet. Yeah, man, no. Oh my God, I had a lady do that to me. I just finally left without buying anything. I was annoyed. I told her twice, like, I was just looking. That's the thing, right? Like, I think salespeople need to know when to stop. But then I also totally understand, like, thank God I wasn't working on commission, because there are sales stores that are working on commission. And then what happens, right, is if they don't get you, like, their customer will. It's basically like, and then of course too, you think about it from like a camaraderie, friendship building situation. If you're basically going into battle against all of your all of your coworkers every day, because you're trying to convert sales, because you get commission on those sales. And so if somebody like poaches your customer, that would be really bad. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes everyone's like really gung-ho because they're like, oh my God, if I don't make an impression with you, you could go to my coworker, then they get the sales, they get the 10% commission, and I get nothing. So I'm like, nah. As a rule, I don't buy from cold calls or walk-ups. When salespeople come by, they launch into their pitch, I politely cut them off and say not interested. I'm sympathetic. 100%. Yeah, I think you're right, where you're like, I don't need you to come at me because yeah. Sometimes what I do too, like, so for instance, what I did with the one who was asking, like, was canvassing while I was on stream, I was like, can I look you up online? Like, do you have, because they said, like, oh, can you, like, because they mentioned how there was something about, like, things online as well, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, like, can I get your information So if I change my mind, because the other thing too, I tried this, you know, and that was the other thing as well, that one of the things I started doing is because I'm stay-at-home dog mom, like every time I look at, so they approached me and said the same thing. You're like, no, especially, if you come in at the same with nothing. That second one that knocked looked like a kid too. He was really young, bless him. That's a tactic. Send in the youngin' to butter them up and see if that'll change their mind. Your mom's like, I know your tactics. But yeah, so because, you know, I'm glorified stay-at-home dog mom, one of the other things I do now, which is like kind of true, but like not really true, is when people are trying to get me for money, I go, I'm sorry, my husband is in control of the finances. I basically be like, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to make financial decisions without my husband, and they're at work right now, so I can't give you any money. And so then they'll be like, oh, well, when does your husband come home? Like, I can come back later. And I'm like, late. Not until late. Not until the sun goes down, which is true, to be honest, because he does work late shifts, so sometimes he's not rocking up until like 8 o'clock, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, I'm pretty sure you want to be done canvassing by like 5, because most people, I think, they think, oh, they work 9 to 5, like maybe they'll be back around 6, and I'm like, nah, dude, 8 o'clock. And then by the time, like, not being funny, the last thing I would wish upon a salesperson is to try to hit someone up after they've finished a day's work, because then they come home, they want to cook dinner, God forbid they have kids they gotta sort out. Like, the last thing, like, you're gonna get a really sour individual if you try to come at them after they've just gotten off a long day of work. But yeah, so they still try. They're like, oh, I can always come back, and I'm like, no, he comes home really late, so like that's not really gonna work. But if you have a card, like if you give me your details and, you know, do you have a website that I can donate to, then like I can always go back and check later, you know what I mean? But I do think as well that, like, I'm sure they have numbers and stats to be like, oh, I canvassed however many homes and I got a conversion of this or whatever, right? So I'm sure if like it's not beneficial for him for me to take his contact details and then donate money to the website directly, because then that wouldn't be able to do a paper trail of like, oh, I got this many people converted, you know what I mean? But yeah, so yeah, that is the tactic I use now. I think it's because I seen my mom do it one time where she's like, I'm sorry, my husband controls the finances, I can't make those decisions. And I'm like, I'm gonna take that as a tactic. Must be such a hard, honestly, just people in sales in general, anytime somebody is asking for money or trying to get you to spend money, like that's difficult, and I totally like empathize. And there's people that are really good at it. Like, some people are just natural born salespeople, and like they could sell you your own like left foot back to you. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like it's a skill set that I do not have. I also don't wish to have it either, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It was so funny because my brother did that. Insurance guys are the best. Yeah. Yeah. They have to be, though, man. Like, they have to make it seem like you just have, like, honestly, like, it's one of those where I don't condone, you know, because I feel like it's kind of shady, but it, like, sometimes, depending on what it is. But I admire the hustle, and I admire the people who are able to, like, sell me anything, you know? Like, if you're a charismatic speaker and you're like, oh my God, like, if you use your charisma for evil, which is, you know, getting people to buy shit. I use it as generalization, obviously not buying things. Like, buying things isn't necessarily an evil, but I mean, like, you're convincing me to consume, like, basically, sometimes, half the time, you're basically trying to convince me to buy something that I don't actually need. That's using charisma for evil, but I admire it. You're like, fun. Yeah, exactly. No, and again, I admire it profusely. Whereas I'm like, I don't know, man. But yeah, kudos. Kudos to the salespeople, and kudos to the people who don't have, you know, nice guy syndrome, who are like, I'm just gonna listen to your spiel because I feel too awkward to tell you no right away. I don't have it. I'm the person that would totally stand in the corner and leave the customer alone. Exactly. Yeah, but that is 100%. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, I think, like you said, it's a fine balance. Because, like, at some point, you can be like, I'm going in, and I might not know what I want. Like, I could be like, oh, like, I'm looking for this. Like, for instance, the other day, I went into Lush to get something for my friend. And I was, you know, I had time to kill. I didn't kind of know what I wanted. And so the woman was like, oh my God, like, can I help you and stuff? And I was like, oh, like, this is what I'm looking for and whatever. And, like, I did find them really helpful because I was going in, like, knowing I wanted something from there, but not knowing what I wanted. So in that instance, it was really good. And they also didn't, like, try to upsell me on, like, crazy things. In fact, anything, they were like, oh, what's your budget? Which I think is really important when people do. And, like, sometimes you can try to get, like, let's say somebody, because it used to be a thing we were supposed to try to do at Pandora all the time, where they'd come in being like, oh, my budget's like 35 pounds. And you would try to be like, oh, but, like, this one's really nice. Maybe you want this is 40. You know what I mean? Just to try to, like, again, upsell is a thing. But she wasn't even doing that. It was like, oh, this is my budget. And she's like, oh my God, like, that's fine. Here's all of these options. And they were, in fact, like, under budget. So then I was more inclined to buy more because I'm like, you're super nice. You're showing me things that are totally reasonably within my budget. I am now inclined to spend more here because I appreciated your customer service. But sometimes you're going into a shop and, like, you're like, I need this specific thing. And everyone's like, what about all this? And I'm like, listen, I came here for one thing and one thing only. Do not test me, you know? Yeah. I'm looking on Google at no soliciting signs, and there's one that says, door knockers, please note, this household charges 20 pounds per minute to listen to sales pitches and or religious messages. This charge is payable in advance by knocking on the door. You signal your agreement with the terms outlined above. That's incredible. That's an incredible sign. I don't know if people are gonna read it. Oh my God, I love that though. Listen, you pay me to listen to your spiel. I love that. Nothing you'll ever buy from DTD salesmanship. Yeah. You never know though. But yeah, no, I love that. To be fair, there's actually so many people with signs in the area. They'll be like, no cold calls, no this, no that, like no leaflet drops. And sometimes when I'm walking Shadow, I'll see the dudes, like they just like, I don't know if they like outsource or hire, if the people work in the company. I like this, no soliciting violators will be sacrificed to the old gods, not the new. That's a good one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, there actually are quite a few that are like, oh no this, no that. I've never thought about getting one. To be fair, it doesn't happen that often that I'm like super concerned. It doesn't, like, I think it helps that where we live just seems like a ball ache to get to. So I think some people are just like, oh, man, I can't be bothered to like walk up this part of the street or whatever. And I'm like, good, kudos. It's a real pain in the ass though when you want deliveries and you actually want stuff coming to your house and everyone's like, I can't be asked to drive up this road, and you're like, cool, it's your job. But it happens. But yeah, thankfully it doesn't seem to be that bad. I do find, like, sometimes I do find we get like a lot of, I think just like, it must be that like the male people get like a certain number of like, you know, grocery store brochures or whatever. And so then they end up giving those to you with the mail. But I think people who say like no leaflet drops or whatever, or no junk mail, they won't put them in the mailboxes. I'm like, I don't care. Every once in a while I get something interesting. Some of them I don't know how to unsubscribe for because we still get stuff that like the woman who previously owned the house was a part of. Cause she was like an elderly woman. So we get, every once in a while we'll get, like promotional leaflets for like retirement homes or for cruises, which is exciting. Cause then I send them to my mom and I'd be like, here's where we're gonna be sticking you. And she's like, great, sign me up. She can't wait. She wants to, like, she can't wait until she's old enough to go to a retirement home where she gets like sing along and meals made for her, and she like has a hairdresser on site. Like, she can't wait. She thinks that that would just be living her best life. Hey, Crafty Gremlin, hello. It's looking good, thank you so much. I hope you are well. I hope you are having an excellent Thursday. I saw your tweet about it honestly felt so true. I should have actually messaged being like, yo, legit, I did heart it though, where you were giving the breakdown of how things transition into spooky season and the percentages of like, okay, right now everyone's starting to put a little bit of autumnal decor up, and then it turns into autumnal with like a little bit of spooky, and then it's like mostly, and then it's full-blown Halloween. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. Judging by the fact that I bought like little autumnal critters right now, that are currently hanging up on the mantle. What I want to do probably this weekend is I want to overhaul this bookshelf, because I feel like more times than not I am streaming down here, and so I want to like make this a little bit more aesthetic to me. And I also have a lot of books that I want to like get rid of and stuff too. I'm bringing up my Halloween decor boxes this weekend. Very exciting. I have a number for Christmas I need to get up. Amazing. Yeah. Actually, I can show you guys. So one of the things, so I bought a present for somebody in the spooky section. I actually bought this. I'll show you some of the things that I bought. But this I actually bought for my aunt, because my aunt really likes spiders and like spider motif stuff. And this is a little bowl. It's a little bowl, and it's not that heavy. So when my parents come in November, I'm gonna give them this to give to her for Christmas. But it's this like cute little spider bowl. And then I found this other thing online that I ended up finding in store. And it's a cupcake stand, but it's like a Halloween themed cupcake stand with a little bat on it and like little spider webs. And so I'm really excited about it. But yeah. Because I do think I have, well, one could say there maybe never is enough Halloween decor, but I'm like at the point now where I think I have a few things. Like I have like my baseline decor. Can you upload a pic of it on the Discord? Yeah, I can do. Can do. Of what? Of the cupcake stand? I can do it right now. But yeah. So yeah, this is from TK Maxx. 8 quid. By Love Vivid. You have a friend who likes bats too much? Oh my god, no way. Let me pop that in there right now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Galway. I appreciate that. There are some cute little things in here. Obviously, Phantasma's hanging out. This is actually from an artist named 1000 that Liam and I really like. So he had like a plushie line of some of his little dudes. Speaking of those nonprofit donate to us, yeah. She lives in Ireland. Oh, cool. So they might actually be able to find it. Yeah, 100%. There's like a channel point redeem gremlin. That if you do that, then I can whisper you a whatchamacallit. There we go. Halloween 365. TK Maxx score. Yeah. Speaking of those nonprofit donate to us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Let's send that over to you. Whisper that. Again, it's not the most hip happening Discord in all the land, but it's a cute little space. We hang out there, we have fun. Okay, let's invite people. Copy the link. I will whisper that to you. Yeah, it's pretty chill, isn't it? It's like we post when we want. I try my best to comment on everything that people post. But I myself am not actively posting on it very often. But you are welcome. You are welcome. I wonder if I can buy it and send it to them. Maybe. But yeah, if they're in Ireland, they might have it if it's at TK Maxx. Even if they do TK Maxx online, I have a friend who'd like to commission a plushie. If you know anyone who could do that. Ooh. I don't know. Depends what the plushie is. I don't know what I'm doing. There are, yeah, it depends on if it's like generic plushie or if it's like of a specific character or thing. Because I know that there are creators that will do like crowd-funded plushies. Oh, what's the, I actually think it might be through this one. I think it's through like YouTunes or something like that. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. But there's a bunch of ones that do like different crowdfunding plushies. And also have Studio Ghibli movies in theaters near them. Ooh, no, I don't. Actually, though, interestingly enough, because this is not, it's like Ghibli adjacent, because obviously Disney had the rights to the dubs for a long time. I don't know if they still do, but because it's like Disney's celebrating 100 years, I don't know if it's 100 years, oh, it must be 100 years of the business or whatever. They're actually showing classic animated Disney films in theaters again around us. So as of right now, I think they're doing them in order. So they're showing Snow White right now, and then I think next week they're doing Bambi and Cinderella, and I'm like, that's really cool. It would be very interesting to see how those movies would do, like, scaled up for a big screen. Though they must, obviously if they're going to be re-releasing them in theaters, they obviously must have, like, the film or the digital copy that would then scale up for that sort of size of a venue, you know what I mean? But I thought it was really interesting. Yeah. Dude, apparently, I don't remember this, but my parents tell me this. Apparently, oh my god, I just had a total brain fart. But apparently, my mom said that The Lion King was the very first movie that I saw in theaters. I think it came out, did it come out in 2019? Or not 2019, in 1994, I think? And so I would have been 2, because I was born in 92, and apparently that was the first film that I ever saw in theaters, allegedly. Yeah, no problem. Oh, one of his personas. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I know people that like crochet, that maybe they would do like a crochet version. Perhaps. I'll have to have a look, or I'll have to have a thought. Because I know, Galloway, you're in Saul's Discord too, eh? And I know that like Citra Dolls has crocheted like him. I think it was Citra Dolls who crocheted him, like a doll version of him, and sent it to him. So I wonder if they still do stuff like that. Yeah, 92 as well. Gremlin, amazing. I love finding more people that like share my vibe and my brain. But yeah, I want to make a Suit Sprite garland type thing. That would be super cute. That would be really cute. All right, Crafty Gremlin, let's join the Map of Friendship. So the Map of Friendship is a thing that we do, where you just give me your general location, because I do not want to dox you. And then we basically just add a little blip on a world map, and then we can see where all of our friends are located. It's quite a fun time. But yeah, no specific cities, just like country or state or province or region. And then I can plop that on there for you. You can also whisper that to me if you want, but obviously it is a public link that people can see. But yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Did you guys see, I think we've talked about it before. Oh, Pens and PA. Cool, cool. That's in my social, so I'm fine with saying it. Okay, cool. Philly. What's Phil? Like the cream cheese. Plop a dot there. Oh, amazing. I'm glad. I'm glad she appreciated it. I hope they're able to find it if they're in Ireland and it's in, crafty. Gremlin. Amazing. But yeah, it would be so cool if she'd be able to find it. Again, too, I don't know if Ireland... They must have TK Maxx because obviously they also have a website. And so on my end, on the UK TK Maxx, that thing was on their website. So get them to check that because they might. Amazing. Oops. Here we go. Another friend on the map. So then next time the map of friendship comes by, you can click on that and then you can see where all of our friends are, which is awesome. Okay, what are we doing now? We're back to this. Excellent. But yeah, I'm so a little bit of, I don't know if it's like a bad thing or a downer or something like that. So you know how I've been coveting, there's this specific Halloween candle. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just feel like it's an interesting way to sort of showcase that the community is like a global area. And it's just fun to see like, oh, like the fact that like the world is so big, but the fact that we've been able to amass like a small community on a global scale is really cool. It's a cool visual to see. So I like that. And I'm glad you like it too. And honestly, like if anyone else streams and they want to take that, go right ahead. It's just like, I think you can, it's through Google Maps. So I think as long as you have like a Google account, you can then create like a personal map or whatever. I'm not entirely, it's been ages since I've made it, but it's a thing. And yeah, feel free to also build your own community. My dot is so lonely. What dot? Oh, your dot. Yeah, your dot on the map. Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look. To be fair, we have a dot. We have a single dot in all of South America. So at least your dot is in relation to some other dots. Some of them are just way in their own little world. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got one in Hong Kong. We got one there. Yeah, little outlier dots. But yeah, it would be fun. It would be really fun if like at one point there would be one in your state. You know what I mean? I do think we have a few that are in California. Yeah, Probacus same, but I'm visiting Georgia in a couple of weekends too, so I'll be close to that dot. Oh, cool. Yeah, all the fun is in the north. Yeah. It's just, yeah, prime location. If anything, though, I think the stats breakdown is most of you guys are in the States, followed by the UK, and then everyone's sort of dotted around elsewhere. Oh, and that means you go to DM when you come here, yeah. Everyone needs to DM the person that's there, yeah. I don't even know, because sometimes people, like, I know that there are people who have joined, but I don't know, like, if they're still actively, like, in the community and stuff like that, but it don't matter. So just saying, if you DM the person who is in the closest vicinity of the map, there's no guarantee that you'll get a response from them. How to survive in that country for 2. Yeah, that's true. You could get some sweet tricks. To be fair though, like I find, like, for instance, in the UK, like if they're like, I don't know, I feel like if somebody were to ask me, like, what's the cheapest way to, like, exist and get around here, I would have no idea. To be honest, I think I would be a very bad tourism guide. Because I would be like, here's my tiny bubble. This is what exists in my world, in my zeitgeist. I don't know anything other than that. And just because the way I live my life might not be like the most cost-effective way, I think. I don't know. Alright, it's snack time. I'm going outside of my traditional granola bar range. Usually we consume Nature Valley granola bars, non-spawn. But I recently I used to eat, like, does anybody eat rice cakes? I used to eat rice cakes all the time as a kid, even crispy mini, so they were like mini rice cakes. But I came across these in the free from aisle. They're like dark chocolate covered rice cakes. And so I'm like, I'm interested. No, especially, oh no! Okay, never mind them. This is not fun time food then. Fuck rice crackers then. But yeah. You hate rice cakes? Okay. Well, it's been a long time since I've had these. I think plain rice cakes are probably a joke, but the fact that these ones are covered in dark chocolate is making it more palatable. Though they're a lot messier than my granola bars. So maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe we don't make the switch to rice cakes. Great in theory, not in practice. We're getting so much stitching done today, guys. Okay. I made a mess. Fig bars and Cheez-Its. Oh yeah, Cheez-Its. Are they like fig bars like the Fig Newton bars? I haven't had one of those in ages too. Also because I think they have gluten in them. But I used to fuck with Fig Newtons. That and like Nutri-Grain bars. So I obviously have like pivoted because Nutri-Grain bars, I think they're like, again, they're more like a baked thing as opposed to like a traditional granola bar. So now I have the gluten-free granola bars, but oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got a pack of raspberry and blueberry. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I haven't had one of those in such a long time. I wonder if they exist here. That could be another reason. I think one reason I can't have is because of the gluten. And then secondly, I don't know if because of UK, if they're a thing here. Big Newtons. Oh, there's recipes for homemade Fig Newtons. Interesting, interesting. Fig Newton UK. You can get chopped organic figs from the health food store. Nabisco Fig Newton chewy cookies from Amazon. Interesting. So yeah, it looks like they would be an import. They would be a specific import. Ooh, now I can show you food. Yeah, dude, post the food. Post the food pics. I love a good food pic. Any Coraline fans here? Ooh, I love Coraline. I love Coraline. I finally actually got the audiobook version. Haven't listened to it yet. It's queued up in my Audible. I've not, I still have to finish the audiobook for Howl's Moving Castle, actually. It's been a hot minute. Oh, that's so cool. So you must have a theater near you, Gremlin, that, like, shows old films and stuff like that. I say old, like, you know what I mean. But that's really cool. Is it like a local theater that'll almost do like crowd favorites and stuff? Because I love that. Probably shouldn't. Yeah. Oh, the popular Greek food in Alabama. I wonder what it is. You even think about reading the Coraline book? Yeah, I've never read it, but obviously it's Neil Gaiman, and the last Neil Gaiman book that was like a kid's book that I read, aka listened on the Audible app, was the Graveyard book, and I loved it so much. Oh, really? No, I think it's an event at multiple theaters for an anniversary or something. Oh, interesting. When did Coraline come out? Now I'm intrigued. Coraline. Came out in 2009. That could have been here. So I wonder what kind of anniversary it is. Studio Ghibli has a deal with the theaters, yeah. Okay. For this year, it's being remastered. They're doing the studio. Well, I wonder if they're doing the Studio Ghibli movies too, because Hayao Miyazaki's like supposed last film ever called How Do You Live, or it's the title's been changed to like The Boy and the Heron. That's come out in Japan, and I think it's premiering at TIFF. That's going to be their first international release, and then I'm sure it'll go to theaters afterwards. So I wonder if they are almost like replaying them in anticipation, because obviously they've done The Boy with the Heron with like no promo. So that maybe is the way that they're doing the promo now. Yeah, he keeps saying that this is going to be his last film, allegedly. But who knows, man? I think the thing too, it's interesting because obviously, I don't know, I think, because basically Studio Ghibli was started by like 3 people, right? It was Hayao Miyazaki, Isao Takahara, who's the other director, and then, I don't know what his first name is, but it's Toshiro, so he's the producer. Like the studio head or whatever. And I think Isao Takahara has passed away. Yeah, he passed away in 2018. And then obviously Hayao Miyazaki's still kicking. He's 82. And then of course, it's Toshio Suzuki. That's his name. So his first name is Toshio. So he's the producer. And he's 74, but he doesn't do any of the directing. But yeah, the thing is they've not found like a successor for the Ghibli like name. Obviously, Hayao's son Goro Miyazaki has directed, I think, two or three Ghibli films, and not being funny, they've all bombed. Like, they've not been good. And so I think, yeah, it's like they haven't found a successor. So I don't know what's gonna happen if this really is Hayao Miyazaki's next, like, last film. Apparently, I know when I was doing my Ghibli research, because I did Studio Ghibli month in November and watched all of the films, that I think it was the director of Whisper of the Heart, I believe. I would, exactly. Oh, I'm the same way, Galway. I want to go in blind to that one as well. I think sometimes trailers are good to build hype, but other times you don't want any hype to be built, because then if you hype too high, you could be disappointed. You know what I mean? But yeah, what was the name of the director? I think it was the one who directed Whisper of the Heart. Yes. I think it was Yoshifumi Kondo in 1995. And so he was sort of touted as he was going to become the successor of like the Ghibli house, because I think he was maybe in his 40s at the time of this film, but then he passed away. I think he had like something happened to his heart or something like that, so he died tragically, but he had the most promise as like the next successor of like the Ghibli directors in like that sort of house. But yeah, so I've not really been able to find somebody to kind of replace him, which is unfortunate. I'm going to Alabama, I can forget about this. Oh, so you're seeing what the Greek Alabamian offers are subpar. Swim to Alabama, quite far. Recommend landing in the Gulf, but watch for sharks. Yeah. 2,000 euros from Athens to Birmingham. Wow. Back from Athens to Atlanta. BBQ alone is worth coming here. 500. That's really weird. How come it costs less money for you to go to Birmingham, which is much farther than for you to come, or to go to Atlanta, than for you to go to Birmingham? Oh, but that's Birmingham, Alabama. I was thinking Birmingham, UK. I was like, why would it cost more for you to travel to the UK than it would to travel to the States? But Birmingham is a place that exists in the US. Never mind. Trailers these days show too much. It's true. It's true. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, Liam, like my partner, he doesn't watch trailers very often. Every once in a while we'll like watch one, but then he'll sit there and be like, well, now I don't need to see the movie. I've already seen all of the most interesting parts of the film in the trailer. That's it, you know? I appreciate like a teaser trailer, just showing you like little snippets, but yeah, when it's like the majority of it, you're like, all the best bits. I want to go to Atlanta one day. Yeah. I've been going there a couple of weekends to get my ears pierced with my mom. Cool. 2 hours. Damn, our country's big. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's so funny because I've gotten to the point now where, again, living in the UK now for, will it be, it's 5 years? No, I think it's 6 years. My concept of like time is like totally skewed, where yeah, like it's so similar Nungde, where like my friend was coming over and I was like, oh my god, like this is a 4-hour drive, and she's like, we used to drive 6 hours to Toronto like multiple weekends out of the year. It's a 6-hour drive one way. Like, you're from Canada, Tasha, like smarten up, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh right, yeah, okay. Like, we would just do the journey. We wouldn't do it in one day. Like, we wouldn't drive to Toronto then drive back again. But yeah, I would be used to like 6-hour car rides. And now I'm like 4 hours or like 2 hours. I'm like, damn, that's a lot. And then I have to be like, nah, bitch, like you grew up in Canada. Like, you're fine. Suck it up. Yeah, they don't. It's the same thing in Canada too, where people will be like, oh my god, you're from Canada? Like, I know so-and-so, they live in BC. Like, do you think you know them? And you're like, dude, I'm from Ontario, which is like 5 provinces away from BC. It takes me like 5 days to drive there. I'm sure I do not know your friend. Yeah, it would take about 4 to 5 hours to drive from here to South Wales to North Wales. Yeah. Yeah, the fact that, like, Liam's like, oh, yeah, we used to, like, drive. To be fair, they would do the 12-hour drive to Scotland, and I was like, damn, that's too much in one go. But the fact that you can get from one side of the country to the other in a day is, like, nuts to me. I'm like, you drive 24 hours in Canada, and you're still in the same province as before. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to drive 12 hours, and I'm still in Ontario. Have not left. Don't know, like, no, this is not how it works. Yeah, we drive 10 hours to Orlando. Yeah, exactly. I remember when I did my tour of Australia, and there was a section where I think it was gonna be like a 6-hour train ride, and all of the Europeans were like, oh my god, this is gonna be so long, and I was like, it's just like going to Toronto, but I don't have to drive. This is excellent. It's like, watch a movie on the little train screen, take a nap, watch another movie, and you're there. It's all good. Bish bash bosh. 6 hours, done. If I do 16 hours, yeah, exactly. Everything is so close. Like, I remember the first time the concept of, like, popping over to a whole ass another country for a weekend was a thing. Like, for my friend's 30th birthday, we just, like, went to Amsterdam for the weekend. And my North American ass was like, what do you mean we're going to a different country for 2 days? And it's costing, like, it's like budget airline. So it's like, yeah, 50 quid to go to a whole ass another country. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to my North American brain. I'm like, you can't go anywhere in Canada for 50 pounds. You can't, like, okay, you could maybe go, like, to go from, like, my hometown of Sudbury to Toronto to fly, it was like $1,000. It was like, you know, like, it was, and that was literally an hour flight. You get up, you get up, you have your ginger ale, because for whatever reason at like 10 a.m. in the morning, I just need to drink ginger ale on an airplane. Airports and airplanes are like lawless states, you know what I mean? Like, the rules in airplanes and airports is completely different to the average rules of society. Like, if I want to drink soda pop at 10 a.m. in the morning, it seems completely socially acceptable on an airplane. Whereas when I'm on land, it's like, that doesn't make sense. Why would I be doing that? Europeans were used to short distances and walking. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was like £1,000 or $1,000 to just like go up in the air just to come down again. Whereas here, it's like, yeah, 50 quid, do whatever, you know? I'm like, I don't understand. If I did go to Paris for TwitchCon, it would have been a 7-hour drive for me from Wales to France. You would have done the drive, eh? Yeah. And it's funny because, like, that's not bad. Like, in my brain, like, in my current UK brain, I'm like, damn, 7 hours, that's long. But, like, within the reality of, like, North America, I'm like, 7 hours is nothing. Yes, you get lit so early. It's true. Everyone should do it so people can be chill on flights. It's true. It's true. Mm-hmm. Everyone just, like, do a shot before you board. 2 hours and a 14-hour flight. That's, like, dead for me. Yeah. It would be a 14-hour flight for you to get to France? Or no? That doesn't make sense. Did I tell you guys how, so, I don't know if I talked about, I hate flying. We flew out of California to San Diego Comic-Con. I swear that was the longest flight of my life. I was like 3 hours. Oh no. Yeah, flying is definitely different than driving. Like, I would prefer to fly just because it's usually shorter, but I totally understand, like, the, like, being squished in a seat with strangers and, like, stale air, and I don't know, man, like, it could definitely be a thing that if you're not used to it, and you also don't like turbulence and, like, you know, all that kind of stuff, it's, yeah, I could see why that would be something you don't enjoy. I don't like flying because I don't like heights. That's fair. Flying feels wrong. I'm in a flying bus, like, what? It's true. It's true. It's very weird. It, like, defies all logic. You're like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But I'd much rather take a ferry. Oh, yeah. We have some friends, because, again, I have friends that are getting married in Ireland this month now, actually. And so one of the options is, like, the ferry options. But apparently, I guess, to be fair, I thought it was interesting, because the way it was looking, it seems like the ferry is actually more expensive than a flight, which I thought was very interesting. But I don't know. I wouldn't know why, but that is a situation. I can drive 12 to 18 hours easy peasy. That's fair. Fly for 30 minutes. Nope. Valid. I was just getting back home after that trip too. Our plane's landing gear wasn't coming down. It's an emergency landing. Then the next plane we got in for a connecting flight kept shutting off mid-flight. And then, no. See, I can see why. Yeah, I can see why the circumstances would make you feel that way. Totally valid. Reboot in the air? Oh, hell nah. Yeah, exactly. None of that, please. But yeah. No, so it was interesting. So we, so we finally booked our, like, flights and stuff for this, TwitchCon in Las Vegas would be a 9-hour drive for me, but I could probably get a cheap flight. Probably won't happen, though. Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot more budget airlines in the US, which I think is good, obviously, for cheaper flights to be able to do domestic things, than there are in Canada. At least where, like, I was, it was, like, only like, WestJet and, Air Canada. And then I think the ones that went up north, there was one called Bearskin Airlines, and they were the ones that would do, like, the more northern stuff. I can swim to Alabama. I would work for a health in the middle. Yeah. I guess you don't have to swim. You could take a boat. You could take a boat, maybe. That would be a little bit safer. Probably not as, you know what I mean? But probably a little bit. Just a smidge safer to be in a boat than to be swimming. But yeah, so we booked these flights, and it's like, yeah, cool, budget airline flights, whatever. But where our friends are getting married, it's like in my friend's hometown, so it's like a little bit outside of like the major city centers, so we have to drive to the destination. So if we're flying in, we have to then rent a car. And so, and to be fair, people have been warning me, because my parents were saying the same thing in, like in Canada and stuff like that, how it's so expensive to buy, like to rent a vehicle now. It's actually cheaper to rent a U-Haul than it is to rent like a traditional car in some places. But anyway, so we're like, okay, cool, we got to rent this car because we go through whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool, like let's go on this website. So go to book the car, and they have like drop down menus, right? Of like the different types of cars. And so we need the car for like 3 days. It's coming out to about like, I don't know, like 80 pounds or whatever. You're like, okay, whatever, that's fine. Drop down menu. It's like, oh, would you like first of all, would you like a manual or an automatic car? I'm like, well, I can't drive a manual. Liam could drive a manual, but it would be nice if I had a automatic so we could share the driving. As soon as you tick box the automatic in the drop down menu, 80 pounds turns into 130 pounds. Just like that. And I'm like, okay, never mind then. So go back down to our like 80 pounds, whatever. One of the drop down options is whether is air conditioning or not. And I'm like, surely at this day and age, then like, I don't think cars get made without air conditioning anymore. They must have air conditioning. I don't understand. But anyway, tick the box to be like, yes, I would like air conditioning, please. It's August. 80 pounds goes up to 130 again. I was like, for air conditioning, which I think should be standard in all of the cars. So I'm like, and Liam's like, it's an hour and a half drive. We will be fine. We'll roll down the windows. Like, we'll make it work sort of thing, right? And so I have a feeling, I am 90% sure. So when I first moved here, Liam had a manual car. It was a Ford Fiesta. It was an older model that still had the manual wheel down like windows. It wasn't automatic windows. You had to physically wheel them down. Do you guys remember those cars? And so I am convinced that we are basically just getting his car in Ireland. So I'm like, yep, it's gonna have no air conditioning. It's gonna be a manual, and I'm gonna have to roll those windows down by hand. And the bullshit of that is that this archaic piece of machinery was more expensive than our plane tickets. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I was like, I don't understand. My car's the worst AC. I need to get it regassed. Yeah. I don't use this often, but that's draconian, right? Thank you, Galloway. Thank you. I feel very validated right now. I'm like, this is so... That's why when I travel, I always go overboard with the money. Yeah. Well, to be fair, yeah, I don't know, man. We have 2 destination weddings today, so we can't go overboard. We have rules and limitations. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's an hour and a half. We'll go with 20. If I go to Ireland, I'm hiring a Tesla or a Mercedes at least. I'll dress something extravagant. See, the thing is though, like, I have no desire to do that. Like, I don't care about, I'm a creature of comfort, so I like comfortable things. I don't necessarily care for extravagant things. But I would like at least the option for airflow. That doesn't feel like a big ask, you know, it doesn't feel like much. Remember, it doesn't take much to impress me. I got a cool shirt with mushrooms on it. I like a cool breeze in my vehicle in August. That's all I want. So funny. The other thing too that's interesting, and I don't think that this is the case on like all major airlines and stuff, like air is a privilege, apparently. I guess so. But now, and I don't think it's with all airlines. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if anybody else has taken a flight recently, but the airline that we're taking, so you have your baseline like ticket, right? And for years now, they've been charging, like most airlines I know charge you for a checked bag, right? So a checked bag is the one that goes like in the luggage compartment of the airplane, right? So you have your check bag, and then you have the overhead compartment in the cabin where all the seats are, and then usually like a little purse that you can stick under the seat, right? So they always charge you for the check bag. They've done that for years now. Okay, cool. Now it seems, and I don't know if this is across all the airlines, they charge you to have a carry-on bag that goes in the overhead compartment of the airplane. So now you can only have like your purse or your backpack or like your little personal belonging that fits underneath the seat in front of you. If you want to put something above your head, you need to pay for it. And I was like, this is new. This is interesting. And that's why these budget airlines are so cheap, because I think a lot of times people will fly them for business, right? So like, I don't know, I assume people that are in like multinational companies that are like, I have a business meeting at like 2 p.m. in this country. I just have my laptop and myself. I'm gonna pop over, pop back, you know, the next like afternoon or whatever, right? So I get why it happens, but then you realize why these flights are so cheap, because they get ya. It's like when you go to the movies, right? But we've already established that movie tickets are very expensive, that you have a cheap ticket, but then it's all of the extras. It's all the schnackies. It's all of the, you know, suitcases that end up taking up all the money, which is silly. Nestle said they want to tax people based on the oxygen they use. Really? I know they wanted to start, like, they charge exponential for, like, water and shit. Yeah, they tried to buy all the water springs in Greece. Yeah. Absolutely. I remember this happening. I remember them being like that they basically wanted to monopolize clean water and start charging people for it. But yeah, Nestle's a tricky organization. I love sneaking food in the movies, worth it every time. Yeah. I know so many people that do that. I just like movie theater popcorn. But yeah, I have friends that just like, they bring all sorts of things into the movie theater. Nestle makes my son's high calorie milk too. Oh no, really? That's so frustrating, because you're like, he literally needs this. This is his life force. Can you like still do this, but like not be shitty as well, please? That would be helpful. Taco Bell, Stromboli, Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna bring him up purse. Damn, that's some dedication. I appreciate that. I remember a friend telling me that their friend brought like a full ass charcuterie board into the cinema. And I was like, respect, honestly. Also, hi Aurora, good afternoon. Traveling to you guys more expensive than Landa? Athens, London, with Standa. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. Make that make sense. I don't understand. How? How is it more expensive to travel a closer proximity? Because also, not even being funny, when you travel to London, you're not even landing in London. Like, I know there's like the London City Airport, but that's like a little airport. The two major airports are outside of the city center. If it's over. Oh, really? Oh, so it's more like a high demand thing. Like they can't keep you guys out of here. So they're like, we're gonna jack the prices to stop you guys from coming over here all the time. That's interesting. If I travel from Athens to London in November. Well, there you go. It's only because right now it's like peak travel time. Or also too, if you're trying to like book a flight for tomorrow, it makes sense that it would be more expensive. Is that what you've been doing? You've been like, if I get on a plane tomorrow, this is how much it's gonna cost. That makes more sense to me now. And like within the context of like literally a day notice, now the 1K makes sense to me. You're no. To be fair though, you know, I appreciate you're like, in this situation, if I got on a flight tomorrow, what would that entail? I respect it. I respect it. You're like, I'm not fucking around. If I'm traveling tonight. Yeah. No, that would be nuts. Yeah, no, never. To be fair, the fact that like we've not booked our flights and accommodation to the wedding that we're going to in Greece, and that's in September, I feel like we are already cutting it close. It's a month away, but like it's probably like from the travel business perspective, like I think we're cutting it close. You're supposed to like, to get good deals, you're supposed to book shit like 3 months in advance or something like that. Show up for your international flights to the airport 3 hours early and book your flights 3 months in advance. Yeah. Okay. I'll stay in the cargo holds. Could you imagine? To be fair, I joked about that last time I was in Canada. I was like, to my mom, I was like, you're tiny enough. I don't need to bring all of, because I had a bunch of Halloween stuff that I had bought to bring back. It was my Halloween haul. And I was like, I don't need to bring my Halloween haul home, Mom. I'm like, you're flexible, you're short. I'll fit you in my largest bag, leave you with a bunch of Cadbury dark milk, and we can get you home. We'll get you back here. Just be in the storage container. You'll be fine. I'm like, you're short, you can bend. I'll provide you with chocolate. You'll be fine. It's an 8-hour flight. You'll figure it out. Yeah. See, and that's the reason too why I would never, like, that's how I always feel about, like, if I wouldn't feel comfortable in a cargo hold, I don't see why people say that it's acceptable to, like, put your dog in a cargo hold. You know what I mean? Like, I could never subject Shadow to that. That would break my heart. He would be traumatized. To be like, you're just gonna hang out with all of these suitcases in the pitch black for 8 hours. I'd be like, absolutely not. Because unfortunately, he's too big to, like, be... I feel like sometimes dogs can, like, if they're little dogs or if they're, like, service dogs and stuff, they can then be on airplanes, like, in the cabin. But, yeah, absolutely not. So, unless, like, I would, like, if there was an option, if it was allowed... I don't even know if it's allowed, but, like, if I bought my dog a seat and he had, like, a valid doggy passport... Could Shadow fly with me places? Would that be allowed? Like, I'd be like, I bought him a seat. Like, I'm not trying to, like, shove him under the overhead compartment or under my seat. Like, he full on has his own seat. Is that allowed? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. No, this would only be the event, because Leo and I always talk, like, if something ever happened to him, like, what I would do if I would stay in the UK or if I would go back to Canada. And then I was like, if I go back to Canada, well, I would obviously bring Shadow with me because Shadow's my baby and my whole world and I love him so much. So I'd have to figure out how to get him back to Canada with me. And I'm not putting him in a cargo hold, so I'm like, maybe we take a boat. We go on a cruise. I hate how you inhale everyone's air in the airplane. Apparently, and again, I could be wrong. I feel like they talk about like how amazing the air circulation is and the technology that they have to do those sorts of things. But I don't know. I always find that like you're more susceptible to illness on a flight. Like even post-COVID, not that COVID doesn't not exist anymore. Like I would still probably wear a mask for the majority of the flight. Just cause, yeah, you don't know what's hanging around in the air. I did an adult-only cruise. It was awesome. Oh, no way. That's awesome. I've never been on a cruise. Post-quarantine. There you go. That's the more appropriate term. That is the more appropriate. Exactly. No, 100%. You are correct. That is the correct terminology. Because it is not. It's still around. But yeah, I've never been on a cruise, but my parents have, like, I don't know when, it was, like, not, like, it was in a while that they did a cruise, and now they're hooked. They're like, cruises are great. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, interesting. I went on the last voyage of a cruise ship, and I was breaking, oh no! I still had fun, though. That's good, that's good. You were, like, I don't know, because obviously it's a maiden voyage, was like the first launch of a ship. What's the end voyage called? It must have a specific name. You know, it's not its maiden voyage. Is it? It's like its matron voyage, like its widow voyage, because it's like maiden is the first one. Hag voyage? I don't know. What is it they call? Like, there's usually like the different terms. I'm gonna call it the widow voyage. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I still mask up on flights or just, yeah, really congested places. 100%, yeah. It'll be around forever now, absolutely. Toilet's not working, whatever, it's fun. I'm gonna go get pizza at the 24-hour pizza bar, right? But I can't. Yeah, oh my god, that's so funny. You're like, listen. Honestly, though, that makes sense to me. Sometimes pizza can cure all that ails you. Oh my goodness, a raid! H-Hells, H-Hells, hello! Come on in, friends. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. Kudos to you for getting past the halfway point in the week. Give yourself a high five. I hope everything is great. Yeah. How you doing? My name is Nostalgia Tash. We are cross-stitching up a storm today. I say that, I've been taking a lot of breaks, doing a lot of talking. I talk with my hands, and therefore I cannot stitch and talk at the same time when I get super hyped about things. But we try. We've been slowly but surely working on our Howl's moving cross-stitch. Hey. Haha, not me trying to use my commands on your stream. That's fine. That's fine. My raid is your raid is your raid is my raid. It's all good. Oh, thank you, Probacus, signaling the health check. Everyone, I hope you have a beverage. Cheers, stay hydrated. Let's do some stretching. Let's check our posture. Things are doing okay. My posture's been, I don't know. This could just be me not being very self-aware, but I feel like my posture's been not bad this stream. If I do say so myself. Who knows, though? But yes, H-Hells, how are you doing? How was your stream? What were you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. I'll do 10 push-ups and squats. Hey man, kudos to you. I don't voluntarily do push-ups. No, we just do regular old stretchy stretches on here. That's not a stretch. That's like an actual like workout. You know what I mean? That's not a stretch. That's a cardio moment. It's late. Oh no. Is it past your bedtime? What have you been up to? Also, I totally understand. I was working on a Lego thing. Oh, that's amazing. Aw, dude, what kind of Lego project was it? If you have any pics of it, feel free to drop it in the chat. That's so cool. I keep on looking at different Legos, and I, like, am very tempted, but I haven't found one that I'm, like, super obsessed with that I would want to have. And then also too, some of them are very expensive. I think the ones that I like are very pricey, and so I'm like, I need to save up for that. She did lots of push-ups too. Really? That's amazing. Kudos. No pics, but it's a LOL's mini Lego set. Okay. Let me Google that. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. Playing for 20 seconds. Let's go. No. No, we don't do that. It would just, see, I would plank for 10 seconds and you wouldn't be able to see me because obviously the camera is this way. So you wouldn't see anything. So I could literally just lay on the ground for 10 seconds and be like, guys, I'm planking. And you wouldn't know because you can't see me. You wouldn't be able to see this. And so it wouldn't matter. Okay, what is it? LOL's mini Lego. Oh, cute. Oh, I've seen these. I think Liam's been gifted like a little soccer project one. Or like a little soccer star one. Awesome. I like it. That's always fun. Haha, no. Can't bring it. Exactly. Oh, see, it's fine for back. You can do all the push-ups and squats for the both of us. It's not necessarily. Shakes violently. Exactly, right? Yeah, no. We don't, no. I do like yoga and stuff, but like, I'll do like a little stretching routine, but it doesn't involve planking. It involves like down dog, and then you move through like a bridge pose, so you can kind of, I don't know, it's like a fluid plank. We're not holding anything. Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Happy Thursday. Things are good. I feel like I did stretch a little bit, but I don't know if I stretched enough. Let's do a little bit more, just because I can feel my neck. My neck muscles, and I don't think I should consciously feel my neck muscles. They should just do the job of holding up my head. I think if you become consciously aware of them, that probably means that they're tense and you don't want them to be. So let's just do some neck rolls. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's actually a free cross-stitch pattern by the artist Stitchy Nova. If you go onto their Instagram page, they have a link to all of their free patterns on a Google Doc, and this is one of them. According to that's what we read. Amazing! I stretch, you stretch, we stretch. Exactly. But yeah, so yeah, this is the castle from Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite Ghibli film. I did tier list rank them last year at some point, and yeah, this one's the number one. But yes, oh wow, this is sad, guys. Apparently we have stitched 71 stitches today. Almost an hour has gone by. That's not bad, actually, because I think last time we did like 100 some in the entire 3 hours, so actually I'm not mad about it. Yeah, in an hour and 22 minutes we've done 72, and we are 51% complete the project. Allegedly. Heaps of push-ups. Amazing. Oh, I'm glad. I feel like more often than not, when I encounter people who are Ghibli fans, 9 times out of 10, Howl's Moving Castle has their heart. I've not met many people who have not enjoyed it, which is cool. My second favorite Ghibli film, actually, I haven't rewatched it in a while because it made me cry the first time I watched it because it was very sad, but in like a nice, heartwarming, bittersweet way, was When Marnie Was There. And I feel like that's like a lesser known one. It's one of the newer ones. It's not directed by Hayao or Isao Takahata. So I feel like it doesn't get as much like love, but it's very nice and heartwarming. And then another one that I love that I feel like it's very underappreciated is a Hayao Miyazaki film called Porco Rosso. That one's really good. That's just a fun, silly time. I highly recommend that one. Much better than The Wind Rises. I found The Wind Rises really boring. And that was the last film that Hayao Miyazaki did. And I think that one he was meant to retire on, but I think it bombed. So now he's making another one. I don't know if that's the reason, but I do feel like The Wind Rises was not well received. Porco Rosso was dope. Yay! I'm glad you guys think so, because I feel like people don't talk about Porco Rosso enough, and I absolutely love it. I love Lappy to Castle in the Sky. That one's also really good, too. You do need to rewatch them all. If you are in the UK, they are all on Netflix except for Grave of Fireflies, which you can get on Prime. But I don't know where they are in the US. By the way, I'm going to be moving places for a master's in a year. Oh my god, that's so exciting, Probakis. What's your master's going to be in? That's cool. I like that. Where are you going to be moving to as well? Grave of Fireflies. I know, right? Yeah. Thankfully, it didn't. Well, I don't know if this makes me a heartless asshole. But finance. Oh, wow. You and your math, Probakis? You're Mr. Maths over there. But yeah, I think because I was aware that Grave of Fireflies is touted as like the most depressing animated film of all time. And to be fair, it is, but I think because I built it up in my head of like, oh my god, this is gonna literally like rip my heart out of my chest and break me. I built up how intense of like an emotional place it's gonna take me on, that I ended up not being an emotional wreck after watching it. Because I think this was a way in which I think it was actually good that I set such high expectations for the emotional turmoil I was going to subject myself to. Because in a way, it kind of shielded me a little bit from that emotional turmoil. A little bit. Oh, Max has them in the US? Okay. Yeah, HBO Max, just Max. So funny. Are you moving to... Oh my god, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. Thessaloniki? Cool. Very awesome. I refuse to watch it because I know I'll cry too much. Yeah. I watched it as a kid and was mind blown, but rewatching it as an adult hits different. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I had never seen it before. There was a lot of ones I hadn't seen. But yeah, I watched all of them last year. And that was really cool. But yeah, that was the only one. You know what it is? I think there's a reason why that one's not on Netflix here, because I think all of the Studio Ghibli films on Netflix, they kind of promote as like family friendly and like at like family fun friendly entertainment, that like to have the one outlier of like that one's not, because I feel like people would search Studio Ghibli, and I think there maybe is a risk from like Netflix's part is because they've like promoted all the other ones as family friendly. I think if people don't know, they'd be like, oh my god, like let's watch all the Studio Ghibli films as a family, and then they're gonna be like, oh my god, why are we doing this? Though I'm pretty sure though the name has the word grave in it. I would like to think that that would set off some little light bulb in people's minds to be like, maybe I should check to make sure that this is appropriate before I subject my children to it. But who knows? Maybe some people aren't that self-aware. I don't know. Maybe some people don't think that critically about those sorts of things. And okay. Thessaloniki. Yeah. Thessaloniki. It's either low or lawn. But that's amazing. The modern ones are more family friendly. It is true. It is true. Though, like I said, I did find The Wind Rises to be really boring, so I can't see a child enjoying that one. The only film that is like, I guess like there's, because I feel like there's a difference between like a family-friendly movie and a kids movie, right? So like family-friendly movies are like movies that all like walks of life can enjoy, and they're almost meant to be enjoyed together. Whereas I feel like a children's movie is more, it's not trying to appeal to adults as much. I don't know. Because the only one that like is almost like of the more childish movies is Ponyo. But I love Ponyo, actually. I think Ponyo is really good. Princess Mononoke is amazing. I recently rewatched it. Oh, it's so funny. So over the weekend, I went over and hung out with Aurora, so my friend. We went over to her place. and she has this toy, like a little toy for her son, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It is like a bunch of interlocking like little caps, kind of like little wooden caps, and it kind of looks like it's meant to be like a little rainbow worm, but when you shake it, it sounds exactly like the Kodama in Princess Mononoke. And I pointed that out, and now she can't unhear it. So now every time she shakes this toy for her son, it's like, it's the Kodama. It's the forest spirits. The forest is healthy. As a child of the 80s, I'm familiar with traumatic childhood movie. Yes. Yes. That's true, actually. Though I do feel like Grave of Fireflies is even more so. Like, not... Like, that's, you know what I mean? But 100%, yeah, there's some... I feel like a lot of the Don Bluth films are actually pretty dark. Yeah. Don Bluth, I think he was originally... Was he an animator with Disney? I think he was. I think Don Bluth originally was an animator with Disney, and then he had beef, and he went off and started his own production company. And is a director... Yeah. So yeah, Secrets of Nim, American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Yeah, I think he worked... What did he work on? I started doing this thing where I would go back and rewatch childhood cartoons, and I feel there are so many shows... Oh, 100%. Things that just, like, fly over your head as a kid, and then you watch back and you go, wait a second. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's how you know that, like, kids are made that are more, like, family-friendly ones. Heading to sleep now. Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you have a wonderful sleep full of super happy, fun dreams, and you are well rested to start your day tomorrow. Thank you so much for bringing your amazing community. I hope you have a fabulous evening and are able to go to sleep wonderfully. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Yeah, I hadn't seen that one in years. Or Sexual Innuendos You Never Pick Up as a Child. 100%. I think that's the other thing too, where that's how you know maybe that filmmakers, or like whether it's animators or storytellers, like whoever on the chain of command of making the film is making a family-friendly movie as opposed to just like a straight kids movie, because they want to put jokes and things in there that will appeal to the older audiences that are also watching, so they don't get bored. I think sometimes, like, though I say that, I do think that there are sometimes situations where this is media meant for children, and there's some stuff in there that probably shouldn't be in there, versus like a deliberate joke that's meant to be like a tongue-in-cheek Easter egg for the parents that are watching it with their children. You know what I mean? I think there's like, I don't know if there's a difference, or there's a fine line of like, oh, this is like a fun joke, a more mature joke for us, the older people watching, or this is inappropriate. You know what I mean? Have you watched Bluey? I've not watched Bluey. I've heard clips about it, and I've seen clips of it, and I feel like it seems to be amazing. I've heard very good things of like how it's very positive teaching experience for children. Because I feel like there's a lot of kids programming out there that is so like flashy and like attention grabbing and like overstimulating, because it seems to be like a trend that kids have like a lower and lower attention span. But it seems like Bluey is one of the good ones. I work with 5 to 6 year olds. At first I was like, it's just a kid show. Yeah. Honestly, there are some kid shows that are so mesmerizing. It's actually amazing how educating. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Another show, so when my nephew was younger, we were like babysitting or whatever, and obviously like my brother and sister-in-law were showing us like the programs that he watches and stuff he likes. And so we became aware of Hey Dougie. Are you guys aware of Hey Dougie? That one was amazing. So we were sitting there, like, Liam and I are sitting there, and I think, like, my nephew had gone off being like, oh, I'm doing other things, and I'm like, I'm actually so invested in these characters, and I actually love this show. This is such a cute, wholesome, wonderful show. If you guys don't know, Hey Dougie is basically about, it's like a camp counselor, so it's this dog named Dougie, and he's like a scout leader, camp counselor kind of person. And oh my god, Galloway, I love Over the Garden Wall. Excuse me, I love Over the Garden Wall. Funny enough though, the first time I watched Over the Garden Wall, I was like, because I think it was overhyped to me by my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law. They were super super like amazing, this is amazing. And so I first watched it and I was like, I'm not sure. And then I watched it again and I was like, why was I so dumb and didn't realize how incredible this was the first time around? So yes, 100% Over the Garden Wall stan. 10 out of 10. Perfect autumnal epic vibes. You love Hey Dougie? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no, love Dougie. There's even like things that Liam and I quote now that are references to Hey Dougie. And like, these are just things that we ended up being aware of through our nephew. But yeah, love Hey Dougie. But yes, so Hey Dougie he's like a little camp counselor dog, and then he has a group of kids. I guess they're called the squirrels. So it's instead of like the cubs, they're squirrels. And then they all spend the day going on adventures, and at the end of the day they earn a badge. Like it's a merit badge like a scout leader would, and they learn all these different things, and there's all these different little characters. Yes, one of the kids is adopted. Yes, I did see that. They have like different representations of families and also different representation of like transportation. So at the end of the show, all the parents pick up the squirrels, all the little kids. And so yeah, one of them is a different yeah, the croc has elephant parents. Exactly. So they have different parents. And then when they pick them up, like one of the parents walks to pick up the kid. One of them takes a car. One of them takes the bus. Like they have different, they're just showing like different types of families to give like representation to different, family situations. Some of them it's like both parents. Some of them it's one parent, stuff like that. And it's just like really thoughtful to have representation in like such a simple way, but in a meaningful way, to be like, oh, that family looks like my family. I'm tempted to turn the badges into real embroidery patches. You should 100%. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. I would love that. Yeah. No, I recommend Hey Dougie. Hey Dougie is recommended. Quality children's programming, friends. My favorite episodes is the puppet show one where they did a real life puppet show, and you just know that the staff animators had so much fun with that show. I don't know if I've seen that one. The one that me and Liam reference all the time is it's like a show and tell one. And so there's a rhino. I think his name is either Rory or Rocky. And he's so goofy. And so they were looking for things, like looking around their little playground for things to show and tell. And so the rhino comes over being like, I found a rock. And then the narrator, there's always like a narrator over him being like, Rocky, I'm pretty sure that's like too big. Like maybe you should try to find something different for show and tell. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then like 2 minutes later he goes, I found another rock. And it's bigger than the last rock. And it's just so silly and weird. But like, I don't know, I love it. So now we like quote each other, I found a rock. I found another rock. And it just brings us joy. Oh, thank you so much. Little Penguini, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Yeah. No, it's so good. I've not watched any of the newest episodes because, again, now my nephew is 6 and he seems to, like, he's not, if he's interested, he's not shared his interest in that anymore. So it's like, shucks, because I quite enjoy. We enjoyed Hey Dougie. Yeah, and actually from another one from that episode too, the show and tell episode, because Happy the alligator, he loves water. Water is like his favorite thing in the world. And so he's going to bring a cup of water to show and tell. So he gets water and he's so excited though. He runs with the cup of water, but of course it sloshes all over the place. So then by the time he gets to the campground to do his show and tell, the water's all gone because he was so excited. He rushed over and spilled it everywhere. And you're like, you're so pure and cute and wholesome. I love it. Oh. I don't know. Okay. Alright, we're 2 hours in, guys. We've hopefully, if we can get like 100 over 100 stitches, I think that'll be progress. That'll be ideal. I think we might need to take another rice cake soon too. Can feel my blood sugar dropping a little bit. But yeah, I think of Over the Garden Wall. I actually have a shirt, so because my brother-in-law is the one who introduced me to Over the Garden Wall, I think it might have been for Christmas or for my birthday. It's like it looks like a silk screen print. Like, you know how people will like do carvings or whatever, and then they'll do like the black ink, and then it'll put almost like a stamp on the shirt or whatever. So it's like actually like an Over the Garden Wall like lino print thing. So it has like Wirt and Greg in a boat, but then it has like the frog on one part and a bit of like a mushroom on one part and different things like that. I actually have this idea for a spot in our garden where it's like kind of too small for anything to grow there, so I don't really want, I just like mulched it, and then we had all of these little like, or not little, but these kind of bigger rocks that didn't really make sense for like a pebble, but I didn't really want them like, there were a few that were like decoratively put in places, but they were overgrown. I wasn't really interested. So I decided that this little patch that I didn't want to grow any plants in was going to become like a rock garden. And because when I was a kid, my parents outlined their garden beds with rocks. And then what we did as kids is we then got acrylic paint and we painted on some of the rocks little designs and stuff like that. And then like they sealed them, like weatherproof them or whatever. And then some of those got to line our garden. So I thought it'd be really fun to do like a little rock garden in that section and have like when our kids, like when the nephew comes over or like our friends' kids come over, we can then like paint the rocks together and have little fun decorative rocks in this rock garden. And one of the things I want to do is in Over the Garden Wall, Greg has this pet rock and it has like this little derpy face on it, and I want to paint that rock to stick in the rock garden. I think that would be really fun. Hey Dougie looks so cute, right? Doesn't it? Definitely. I don't know if that would help, you know, I know you said that you take care of like 5 and 6 year olds, or you work with 5 and 6 year olds. This might be another show to use in your arsenal to be like, look, it's like, you know, if it meets the criteria for children interactions. Yeah, painting horse with a kid is so much fun. Yeah, exactly. Kids paint little rocks to look like fruits. Yeah, for their play kitchens. That's really clever. I like that. I was trying to think of some modern examples of children's media with dark elements. Over the Garden Wall is a little spooky. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely is like, it has like some it has nonsense to it that I think would appeal to kids. Like, I'm sorry, but like kids would love the potatoes and molasses song. That's a bop. That's a bop. But yeah. It'd be interesting to know, yeah, in terms of like, I don't know if it really teaches you, like, you know how a lot of kids programs, there's usually like some moral where they have to try to like teach you something at the end of each episode. But because, I don't know, like that one is not formulated as such, but I don't think there's anything overly offensive in it that I think, yeah, definitely. Kids only need some spooky in their lives. Definitely. Actually, one of the ones that I love, it's a Canadian show. We watched Finding Nemo and the kids were so terrified. Oh no, to be fair, the first bit of that movie is absolutely terrifying. That like barracuda, absolutely, I could understand that. I used to have a video cassette. It was like Disney Silly Symphonies, but it wasn't all the Silly Symphonies, it was a few of them. So it was Peter and the Wolf. And so it was basically an animated version of Peter and the Wolf where each character was represented by a different classical music instrument. But the first time they introduce the wolf to you, they do a close-up on the wolf's face with his mouth open, and he's like snarling and roaring, and his teeth are dripping with saliva, and it used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. So I knew when that part was coming up, I would hide behind the sofa until it was over, and then I'd be like, okay, I can watch the rest of the show now. So there were certain bits that I was like, I'm not gonna watch this clip, and then once that clip is done, I will resume consuming the media. But one of the shows that, this was actually when I was much older, that I had discovered this, but there was this Canadian produced TV show that is called, I think it was actually like, do you guys remember Emily the Strange? It's like an apparel brand with like this little goth girl. And there was kind of like a cutesy version of that by a different company called Ruby Gloom. And so I think that again started as like a cartoon little apparel brand thing. And then they turned this into a little TV show. And so the theme song is really cute because it's all about like looking at the bright side of the dark side. So Ruby Gloom is this like little like ragdoll girl, and she has a bunch of different friends. And they all live in this like spooky house. So there's like, so Misery is one of the, she's kind of like a banshee sort of person. There's Iris, who has one eye. There's Poe, who's a raven. There's Scaredy, who's a bat. There's a ghost. There's Skullboy. There's like these twins that are actually like zombies that are kind of attached together like Siamese twins, but they're in a rock band. And it's very cool and very cute. I found all of them, I don't know, again, with like region stuff, but I found them all on YouTube actually. So they have all of the episodes of Ruby Gloom on YouTube. So that's like a spooky, cute kid show that I highly recommend. If you like spooky cuteness like I do, you will enjoy that. Half my class is in tears. I had to stop the movie. Oh no. That's difficult. Just gotta make sure you fast forward past that part in the future. I guess the other thing too, right, is like, especially with little kids, like the concept of being away from your parent, like the whole premise of the movie, if they then start to internalize like, oh my god, if I was separated from my parent, and then they like freak out because they're like, that would be terrifying, you know what I mean? If you internalize the premise of the film too much, I could see that really messing you up. Mm-hmm. I think I did this in the most effective way, but that's fine. The kid who would cry for hours. You can see his house from our classroom window. Oh no! I remember I had a friend. I remember this in kindergarten. I think she had like a lot of anxiety about going to school and stuff like that. So I always remember when we would sit down for lunch, her mom would write her little notes on napkins. So when she opened her lunch, she could see like a little note from her. Oh my god. Cats Redeemed throwback Tash. Okay, do you want like, I don't know, you can pick a theme. Do you want like baby Tash? Do you want kid Tash? Do we want like, I don't know, sporty Tash? Let's see, let's find something good. Kid Tash, okay. Let's find Kid Tash. Oh, do you want to see? I'm trying to think how old I was in this one. Yeah, this must have been, so I was in grade school at the time, so I think this one will probably be the most appropriate. So I took a dance class for many years. And so I think this is we had like performances that we would do every year. We basically like paid to dance all year in classes for like one penultimate performance. I remember my parents saying it was very expensive for like one performance. And then, so I took tap and jazz, and so we would do a jazz number and then we would do a tap number. So this is my costume for the jazz number. It was to the song Summertime. Like, I don't know what else to call it. Like, summertime, Like, I don't know what song that is, but that's all I remember from that. And so, yeah, this was my jazz outfit. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then this actually, we had this fireplace for years. So this is my house. This is our downstairs basement. We had that carpet for years as well. A whole Barbie fit. Yeah, truly, truly. The headband, the flared sleeves, the bright silver. Yeah, it was pretty dope. My hair was short in that one too. I don't know if we can see. Oh no, I'm like, do I still have teeth in this one? Yeah, I don't think I've lost any teeth in this one. That's not too bad. But yeah, so that was my jazz outfit, and then we had a tap outfit as well. I can't remember what song that one was for. But my friend, so the friend that I was telling you about that I met by her parents coming over around in the wintertime being like, this is so-and-so, go play together. I joined dance class because she was in this dance class. And so we were actually in, yeah, because I lost, to make sure, like, I have pictures of me, like, when I think I lost my front two teeth first. So I didn't have, like, how some people have, like, the gap where they lose their front two teeth? I didn't have the front two teeth I lost. It was, like, the two teeth beside that. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're a kid, I had, like, different sized mouth situation. But yeah, and so the other thing too is actually there's video evidence. I don't currently possess it of my performance, because what they would do is we would do these performances every year, and then they would film it, and then you could buy the video of all the performances. So then you'd have to fast forward on the cassette tape to get to the part where you were performing. So it wasn't like a DVD that had like chapters where you could like go to the specific dance class. I think what they just did is they just set up a tripod at the back of the like auditorium and then just ran the tape for the whole thing, and that's what you bought. And so I think my dad went through and tried to like convert parts of the cassette to digital, but of course it's so far away. Oh, they do, but you have to pay for it, obviously. They're trying to make bank off these performances. That's why my parents said it was so expensive. Years later, I stopped doing dance at this company, and I started doing Ukrainian dancing at like the local Ukrainian federation in our town. And that one was much better because we did multiple performances throughout the year, and it wasn't like nearly as expensive as this one was for like a one-off performance. But yeah, so we had to pay for it. And so it's really, really grainy footage. Because it's like so far away and it's so old. Obviously it's like magnetized cassette tape. But so my best friend at the time was in this performance with me, and she's a little bossy. She's a little type A, right? And we're all like, what, 6 or 7 or something like that. And so we're doing this routine, and at one point we all have to gallop into a circle. And the girl who was supposed to start the gallop wasn't galloping, so my friend pushed her to like get her going. And so you can see on this tape of us doing our dancing, at one point my friend pushes another girl to be like, go do the thing, and she's like, oh yeah. So she's a little bossy boss. So we have footage of her being a little Miss Bossy Pants. So funny. Yeah, children be wild. It's great. But yeah, so that was, I'm trying to think how many years I danced, because even my friend stopped dancing in that for that dance company, and I still did, I think, for a couple years afterwards. So yeah, I did tap and jazz. It was so funny. I actually think I still have, because when my parents were going through all of our stuff to get, like, and I had to get rid of things I didn't want because they were moving, I kept my tap costume from this like first performance, because I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. Actually, maybe I didn't. I think I did though. And I went, so that it's a little skirt that I have for this tap outfit, and I can maybe get it up to my knee. Like, I went to see, like, obviously I wasn't gonna try to put the whole thing on. It was like this big, but I just wanted to see how small it was. And it was like, imagine like my knee, and like that's how tiny like 6-year-old Tasha's waist was, you know what I mean? And it's like, it makes sense, but it's just wild to think that I used to be that small. Like, you ever think back and you're like, damn, like, I used to be a freaking baby. Like, that's weird to think about. Like, in the same way that, like, you see, like, your nephews or your nieces when you're older, like, when they get older, and you're like, dude, I literally held you as a baby. You were this big. How are you 6? Like, I don't understand. It's the same way when you're like, I'm a 31-year-old woman, and I used to be, like, I was born 6 weeks premature. I was this big. It's like, it doesn't compute in my brain, you know? We grow, exactly, we grow. I had a little bunny costume. My cousins wore that for Halloween for years. That's amazing. The bunny costume was for ballet somehow. I don't know, but we hopped around and pointed with our toes. Yeah, man. Absolutely. That makes sense to me. Little ballet class, right? I was like a whole different person from just 5 years ago. Exactly. Like, I think back to, like, when I was, like, in high school, and I'm like, who was that girl? Who was that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Just, yeah. So to even think further back from that, and then, again, that's why it's wild to me. So, like, for instance, my bossy friend who pushed the little girl in our dance troupe when we were, like, 6 years old is a mom of 2 kids now. Is married with 2 children. And I'm just like, that's so wild to me that I'm like, it's not that you just, like, that I've known somebody for that long, that I've seen you as your bossy little childhood self, and now you're like a grown-ass mom. Like, that's wild to me. We made the kids at school buy uniform 2 sizes larger than them. Really? Because I guess they're going to grow into it just to make it last, right? I was a whole... Are her kids bossy? I don't know. To be fair, because she's had them after I moved here. And so I'm sure they're quite independent. I think when her second was born just recently, she sent me a little video that her sister had taken of her firstborn, like chatting to the camera and stuff like that. And she does seem like a big personality, so I wouldn't be surprised. Isn't that what they always say, right? Usually you're like, oh my God, I was such a menace to my parents, and now my tiny creature is being a menace to me. And you're like, yeah, I deserve that. Karma's a bitch, you know? I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you for that, Probacus. Posture's good. Stay hydrated. Let's do some more stretching. Let's do some head stretches. Because again, we're trying to prevent my neck from seizing it. Let's do some shoulder rolls, maybe. I'm scared to have kids because I know how I was as a kid. That's so funny. Kiddo just went up a class in gymnastics. He was so nervous about it being too hard that he kept stopping and sulking during class, which isn't like him. Kiddo's anxiety took over, but we had a good chat and I told him how proud I was. Aw, amazing. Oh, that's so good. I can see that being really hard, especially, like, it's sort of like when you're, like, big fish in a small pond, and then you go, like, to being little fish in a big pond. It's like, it feels like a steep learning curve, but you're kind of like, no, dude, like, the fact that you're here is so amazing. You just try your best and have fun. I feel like I've told you this all the time, but, like, you're such a good mom, Nugday. Like, you just have the greatest little kid, and it's so amazing that you're so supportive of their hopes and dreams and all that kind of stuff. And I just love hearing about your dynamic with him, because you two are just lovely. My brother and I drew on our parents' car with rocks. Hey, man. The world was your canvas. The world was your canvas. Your parents told you could be anything, and you decided you wanted to be car detailers. You just wanted to have, like, cool flame decals on the side of your parents' car to make it go fast, because, like, that's kid logic. Flames on the side of anything, on the side of shoes, on the sides of cars, on the side of rollerblades, instantly make you go fast. It's just, like, the rules. You know what I mean? Flames on the side of anything makes it faster. Same with cool lights, blinky lights. Awesome. They get inside their own head sometimes. I just think it's, yeah, exactly. Exactly. parents told me to be a dentist or a lawyer. You can probably guess my culture and background based on the stereotypes. Wow. Was there a time that you were, like, legitimately considering it? Or were you, like, immediate, like, always, like, I'm definitely not? Also, all the parents have to watch up on the balcony and most stand and watch over it. But there's windows, and I saw one dad bring a camping chair so he could sit and watch through one of them. So I brought my chair this time, and we both sat next to each other in front of the window watching. That's so amazing! I love it. Never. That's so funny. So it would just be like, oh, you need to be a dentist. And you're like, yeah, sure, mom and dad. Absolutely. Cool. Yep. Immediately. Yep. You just keep pretending that's going to happen. You just keep thinking that that's going to be an option. I told my parents at 15 that I'm doing whatever I want. Otherwise, yeah. Kudos, man. Kudos. You're like, listen. This is the land of opportunity. I am going to take the opportunity to do whatever the F I want. Got smacked for it, but it was worth it. Hey, man. Yeah, you can't preach the dream and then decide that the dream has restrictions, right? That's so funny. I love that. It's like beating them at their own game. They're like, you told me I could be anything I wanted to be. Don't tell me I only have 2 options. I'm gonna do whatever I want. This is the land of the free, bitches. I'm free. Yeah. Absolutely. My mother proceeded to tell me that the West invaded our country and now she's here because they ruined her home. Oh, okay. Yeah, so she played the guilt trip card. She was like, how dare you? Not for me! Yeah, exactly. I can see why you're a bit concerned to have children of your own. Oh, that's so funny. Yep. Hey, man. I get it. They're like, listen, and you're like, actually, you listen. But that's alright, you just get to be, you just get to be a positive influence on other people's children. To be fair, in my mother-in-law's defense, she always talks about how she was a terror of a child. But she raised 4 boys and they all turned out pretty great. So you never know. If anything, it might make you smarter because you're like, I knew the kind of shit that I could pull when I was younger. So I have the, you're going to be proactive and being like, in this house, what are the options for the children for sneaking out in the evening? Because you knew you snuck out in the evening, so you would already put those parameters in place. Whereas parents who were like goody goodies and didn't misbehave, they would have like, it would go over their head, right? Whereas you're just more creative out the gate. You got more life skills in order to put things in place to protect your children from the shit that you were doing. I'll be a terrible mom. I do think that's the nice thing about working. Like, I'll watch my kid run and fall, yeah, and then laugh, try to stifle laugh. To be fair, I'm sure a lot of parents do that. Sometimes kids running into shit is funny. You can't help that. Slapstick comedy is like the basest form of comedy, right? I think that the thing that's cool though is like, if you like kids, like, you know, enjoy them around and, you know, all that kind of thing, but don't necessarily know if you want to have them for yourself. It's kind of cool when you work in a field with children, because I did that for a while where, like, I was running or working with people in, like, family play groups. And so, like, we would facilitate the play groups. And so the best thing is, like, you get to hang out and interact with the kids, but, like, if they're mouthing off, if they, you know, poo in their diaper, if they're causing a scene, you give them back to the parents and the parents sort them out. You go, yep. So you're just there for, like, super happy, fun, cozy times. And then you go, that is mom and dad's job. So you get to just get the fun part. It's like being an aunt. Though sometimes, you know, you can invest in whatever level of involvement in children's lives that are, like, part of your family that you want to. I believe in consequence, each other. Yeah, I remember watching my little brother play hockey. Kids smashing into each other is hilarious. Renee, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. Absolutely love and want kids. I'm just mortified how they'll turn out. I say the same thing too, Gremlin. If I don't end up having kids, I'm gonna be that crazy dog person. You ever talked with the crazy cat lady? Maybe crazy dog lady. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I've had enough of this tiny creature. You can go home. My sis doesn't want kids, and Kiddo only confirmed that for her. She just wants all the dogs too. That's so funny. And it, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's not necessarily like a bad thing. Like, there's nothing to say that, like, because honestly, your kiddo from the stories, he sounds like such a polite little tiny gentleman. Like, you have raised him so good. But that could be like, you just see the amount of effort that goes into being a parent, and you can be like, not for me, you know? Yeah, dogs first, human children after. That's fair. Yeah, that's why we have Doggo. I've become one of those obnoxious dog parents. Shadow is my child. I will accept no other iterations of that story. One of my mates has a great kid, yeah. But again, she buys him chore toys. That's so funny. To be fair, like, every once in a while, when Shadow, like, where Shadow gets groomed, that's so funny. Where Shadow gets groomed, it's like in one of those sort of like, commercial, like, industrial, shopping areas where it's like parking, then there's a bunch of shopping stores around. So when he's at the groomer, sometimes I'll go first to Hobbycraft, because of course, and then there's a kids store there. There's like a Smith's Toys, so I'll go in there and just poke around and like look at toys, because I'm like, ooh, what's in there? Like, what do Barbies look like these days? What does this happen these days? And Liam and I have a box, like, or a set of like kitchen bowls, and I forget what the name of the brand is, but I'm walking down the kids aisle, and you can literally get kids' version of the exact kitchen bowls that we have, because it's from the same brand. The brand makes like proper kitchen bowls and then makes kids' versions of their actual products. And I'm like, that's genius. I thought it was so funny. I'm like, oh, we can get mini kid versions of the actual products that we own, which is so funny to me. He's very sweet and sensitive, but he does have a bit of a temper when he doesn't get his own way, and it's total night owl, like me staying up till 2 a.m. Yes, I remember you saying he is a night owl as well. Temper's just personality. There's also a Smith's by my local Hobbycraft. That's so funny. I wonder if they, like, Like, is there a Pets at Home near there as well? It's like Pets at Home, Curry's, Hobbycraft, Smith's, a Next. Maybe it's like just that particular complex. They're like, we're just gonna plop this down in different regions of the UK. That's so funny. One, two, three. You know, I finally bought myself an actual microphone with an audio recorder, so that way I can actually record things and have it sound like it's being recorded under the water. Maybe I'll finally be good at content creator, but because it's about damn time. What is up, dude? Anything else? Another dude come in with hello, failings. Welcome in with the cold open. Congratulations on getting an actual microphone, because I know you have a podcast. I know you do content creation. Kudos to you for upgrading the system, you know? That's exciting. It's always exciting when you get a new bit of tech that just, like, you know, elevates what you're already doing. It's always a fun time. So congrats, sir. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are good. Oh, that was too many. I don't need that one there. So this is our 1, 2, 3 right here. Can't relate, my tech is broken by children. Really? Yeah, I guess that's the downside of working with children. Especially because I know this, with like my nephew, I feel like a lot of kids, to be fair, kids and older people who don't understand technology, I think it's the same thing, that when something isn't going their way, and like for instance with touchscreens, kids seem to do this thing where, like, if it's not happening the way they want it to, they'll press a thing harder, and you're like, no, dude, you don't have to, like, stab the touch screen. You just gotta press things lightly. You don't have to, like, you know, be like, do this, and you're like, no, it's a touch screen. It doesn't have to be that heavy. I feel like kids can be a bit heavy-handed with stuff. Not all the time, but I think especially when, like, they're playing games or getting frustrated, it's like, okay, instead of moving the joystick, they're like moving the joystick, you know what I mean? So, nah, he only has a temper with me. If anyone else is mean or doesn't let him have something, he just gets really upset. Aww. Yeah, it's good that it means that he's able to express his full range of emotion with you, but obviously, you know, no one wants to deal with a temper tantrum at any stage in their life, right? You don't ever want to be on the receiving end of an anger situation. But it's good that it is you, because that means that he trusts you to be able to have that full range of emotion. But, you know, people don't enjoy having negative emotions thrust upon them, even if it's by their tiny child. It's like, I love you, and I'm glad you feel comfortable enough to experience the full range of emotions with me, but man, you gotta tone it down. Really? The kids know how to code in Photoshop? Honestly, because they're born with this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I saw something the other day, which was wild to me, that kids today won't understand. Like, you know how when we were kids, the sort of like classic funny move was to take a banana and put it up to your ear to be like, hello, and like pretend that your banana's a phone, and like banana phone there's a whole song. There's a banana phone song. You know what I mean? But it's like phones today don't have that shape. So if you were to hold the banana up to your ear to be like, hello, like kids are gonna be like, you're just being weird. Like that doesn't look like a phone. Like you're better off holding up a piece of bread and pretending that it's a phone because it's flat like a smartphone is. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to hold up a banana to do that anymore. Which is so funny when you think about it. Yeah. Yeah, if his phone crashes or the internet is slow. Yes. My nephew does the exact same thing. Yeah, you're gonna break it. You're not. Exactly. Yeah, another staff member made the joke and the kids were weirded out. Exactly. They're like, that doesn't make any sense. You're like, no. Yeah, so the banana phone is dead. The other one too, which is also kind of sad as well, is like, obviously it's different because this person has passed away. But like, do you remember, like, I had friends even when I was like younger. We know when you go to throw like a piece of rubbish in the bin and you go Kobe, you know, to like do a basketball hit, and it was like you would say Kobe before you threw it. People don't understand that reference anymore. They don't know what that means. I guess people could go LeBron, but like it doesn't have the same ring to it. No one's ever said LeBron and like thrown trash, like thrown paper in the garbage. It's always been Kobe. But now it's like that person doesn't exist for young basketball fans anymore, unfortunately. You still do that? That's so funny. I love that. I love that though. We gotta keep these things alive, man. You gotta keep these things alive. Yeah, Banana Phone. Yeah, Banana Phone is even a song, right? Kobe. Yeah, you gotta. But yeah, there's just certain references that that are not relevant anymore. You know what I mean? You still have all my time. That's amazing. That's amazing. See, it's funny because like I'm the oldest child. My brother's a year younger than me, but most of my gaming was like learned through him. So the only thing I remember is we used to rent N64s from Blockbuster, which that whole sentence is just seeped in 90s. Like that's just the most 90s ass sounding sentence that could ever come out of my mouth, is I used to rent N64s from Blockbuster. And so my kids ain't touching the internet until it finishes Super Mario. That's so funny. I love that. That's an amazing thing to be like, listen, you're not allowed on any mobile games until you finish Super Mario. Because that actually teaches you discipline, and also the fact too that nowadays a lot of mobile games, when they're playing a game, if it's a free one, there'll be ads. And so what happens with my nephew all the time is he'll be playing like a mobile game or a game on his tablet, and then he'll get an advertisement for another game, and he's like, oh, now I want that one, or now I want that one, and now I want this one. And it's like, no, you already have a game. You need to stick with the game that you want, right? Whereas, yeah, back in the day, you would either rent a video game and you had it for like 3 or 4 days, or yeah, you would save up money to buy like a Game Boy game or a Nintendo game, and then it's like, they were expensive, and so you'd have to make it worth your while to play it. To be fair, like console games are still like that, but mobile games are just like so quick to be like, oh, this is a free one, this is a free one, this is a whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, right? You're like, okay, you want all of these things, but all those things will eventually impact your ability to play what you want to play. They're graduating through the times. I feel as a kid we had limited marketing. Yeah, that's true too. When the TV was on and you went outside shopping. Exactly. That's the other thing too, right? You would have like radio adverts in the car if you had a radio, and then it would be the TV adverts. But yeah, now there's so many more avenues for marketing that they can get ya. But to be fair too, like it's one of those things where I've grown up with, advertisements and quite enjoyed looking at a good advert. Now, it enrages me when I'm watching a YouTube video and the unskippable advert is more than 10 seconds long. I'm like, this is some garbage. Like, it's like a 30-second ad, and I'm like, this is taking forever, And it's like, as somebody who would grow up with, like, there'd be a commercial break and there would be, like, 10 minutes of commercials. Like, now I have zero tolerance for it. Yeah. When he wants a new game, he has to ask me. I have to confirm on my phone that he can download it. So usually I'll tell him to delete one. Yeah, I think that's what my brother and sister-in-law do as well, where they go like, okay, you want this thing, that means something else has to go. So you have to understand, do you really want it, or do you like these other things better? Mm-hmm. Commercials when you run to the bathroom, exactly. But now you can pause things. But yeah, we don't even have, I don't know how many people, we don't even have basic cable anymore. All of our stuff is streaming related. But yeah. So yeah, I have zero tolerance for those things. Yeah. Yes, exactly. you do that, and also too, you'd be like, I gotta pee, and you would run off and be like, tell me when it's on again. And I remember sitting there being like, it's on, and then the person would have to run back from what they were doing really quickly, or if they were in the bathroom. Yeah. See, now you don't even need to have a break. If you gotta go pee, you can take your tablet or your phone and continue watching the YouTube video you were watching on the TV while you're taking a poop. You don't even need to pause. You can just bring it with you. I had a discussion in my class about what the world used to be like. Oh yeah? It's so funny because it sounds like when you ask that question of like back in my day, it sounds like 50 years ago. You know what I mean? But then you're like, no, it's not, like even the difference in the last 10 years is wild. Kato always brings his phone to the toilet with him. Dude, I do the same thing. Half the time if I can't find my phone, 9 times out of 10 it's because I left it in the bathroom. But I will not apologize for this because when I was a kid, it was my Game Boy. And before that, it was a magazine. So I was always reading shit on the toilet. Now it's just all on my phone. Like, do you remember that we had, like, I think it was actually like a toilet roll holder that had a basket underneath it for magazines. Because you would have reading material in the bathroom. So we always had content in the bathroom when we were growing up. It's just changed. So instead of reading the newspaper on the toilet, I'm reading the news on my phone, you know, or the gossip magazine, or, you know, doing the crossword puzzle in the gossip magazine. Now I do that on my phone. Yeah. Can you pause? Yeah, you can't pause. I had to ask the kids to imagine missing their shows because you can't. Yeah, exactly. He also figured he can play Roblox on the PC, so now he's stolen my old laptop to play it. His bed is the tall one with a desk underneath, so his laptop now lives under the desk. Oh my goodness. I said this once and I'll say it multiple times again, but I hope I never have kids, mostly because I'm gonna forget I have kids. My attention span and attention to detail is that bad. Toilet time is TikTok time. I respect that. You just forget you have a child. You're like, oh damn. Yup. I forget about myself enough, honestly, right? Yeah, it happens. I feel like that's like a concept in a lot of shows. I feel like that's probably a thing. Like, there's a lot of movies, especially in like the 2000s, early 2000s, there was a lot of movies of like, you know, the love child or like the child of a one night stand being dropped off at the opposing parent's house, like that didn't want them. It's usually the dude. It's usually the mom who will be like, here's your kid, bye, and then like fucks off for the remainder of the movie. And then the parent or the reluctant parent has to learn to bond with the kid. And I feel like there's so many moments where they like turn around and the kid's standing there being like, I'm hungry. And they're like, you're still here. Oh my goodness. Like, I feel like that was a big trope in a lot of movies in the early 2000s. Or maybe it was just Big Daddy, but I feel like there were other other reluctant parent movies besides that. My kids in class remind me of our routine. They always look at me in disbelief. That's amazing. Hey Eli, how's little Jimmy? Who's little Jimmy? Your son. I have a son? Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's a trope. Honestly though. And also too, not being funny, like being, I don't know, like if you're a teacher or a daycare worker or something like that, you usually have to do so much outside of your like traditional 9 to 5 with very little resources. So I don't blame you if you forget what the routine is sometimes. I'm like, you don't understand how much I've been doing inside and outside of work. So if I forget that it's time to do this, like, you know what? Let me be. They're like, the fact that I even teach you anything at all. Oh, we don't talk about that. Yeah. No. Underpaid, overworked. Many of our essential workers that were lauded during the pandemic of being the most amazing God-given creation on all the planet. Now that things are back to normal, you're like, where's my pay rise? Where's my extra time to do things? None of that. Yeah, absolutely. Way, hey, Saul. Hello, hello, sir. Good afternoon. I hope you are well. I hope you're sleeping okay. I know you've not been sleeping the greatest over the last few days. I hope you've been able to get some Z's, my good friend. That's so ridiculous. It's also the thing, too, because I remember, like, the fact that teachers have like Amazon wish lists that they like promote out to people being like, oh my god, can you please help fund these children's education? Like, that's ridiculous. Sleeping okay, just been out and about, hurting my knees like a healthy person. Hey man, hopefully your body doesn't make you pay for that later, but I'm glad you're out and about, or oot and a boot, as us Canadians apparently like to say. I don't think I've ever said oot and a boot. Apparently, it's less, what I've been told is that it's not oot, it's like more like boat. So the way I say boat would be like a boat, you know? We asked the kids' parents to donate tissue boxes. That's nuts. Teachers deserve, 100%. Teachers, nurses, personal support workers, garbage men, garbage women, I don't know, refuge people. But yeah. Damn Canadians and their ways. Ways. How is that spelled? Librarians too, 100%. Oot and a boot. Yeah, exactly. That's the stereotype. We say A all the time and everything is oot and a boot. Went away. That's alright. You back again. Is that the reigning, defending, undisputed Twitch, not so heavyweight champion of the world, Saul, infectious charisma the seeker? Oh my god, I'm fangirling out right now. It is! It is him in the digital flesh. Not in the real flesh, in the digital flesh. So many lovely people today. Yeah! Unless you mean that in sarcasm. But I hope that you mean that in the real way. How do you say water bottle? Water bottle? Water. Water bottle. It's so funny, actually, because I always tell this story when Liam first visited Canada. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you mean it seriously. Excellent. Because when we went to a restaurant, he asked for a glass of water. Water bottle. Water bottle. Oh, yeah, I see. Water bottle. No, water bottle. Water bottle. No, water bottle. But yeah, so he asked for a glass of water, but of course he's British, right? So he's like, oh, I'll have a glass of water. And then they're like, what? I'll have some water, please. And they're like, huh? And he goes, can I have some water? And they go, yep, one glass of water coming up, sir. But yeah. Still rolling me, damn it. Absolutely. Water. Yeah, water. Can I have a glass of water? Wooder. Wooder boodle. The wooder boodle. Wooder boodle. That's amazing. Water. Yeah, it's true. Water. But yeah, no, and he's like, I'll have a glass of water, please. Water. And then they went, huh? They didn't understand him. So he had to say water with a D. What a way to make decaf coffee. Amazing. I don't look Aussie, so it catches people off guard when I speak sometimes. That's funny. I guess, do people just assume that all Aussies are, like, blonde and tan? They all, like, look like surfers or something? Like, is that the assumption? I don't know if I look Canadian. I don't know what that even means, you know what I mean? What does that even mean? Oh, right. Right. I see, yeah. Yes, yeah, that stereotype. Yeah, right? God forbid. That must be so fun to exist in the world. Like, people just assume that you don't, like, that you can't speak the language you're fluent in. That must be an interesting way to go about life. It must be really satisfying, though, when people assume something like that about you, and then you actually are more eloquently spoken than they are, and they're just, like, flabbergasted. That must feel very, like, yeah, F you. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Born here first generation can be pretty, but yeah. I'm fluent in a Cockney git. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that must be the best feeling in the world when people are like, it's like shitty for people to assume that you are not fluent in your native tongue, and then when you say something that's even more eloquently put than them, you're like, what? You know what I mean? How can I tell someone that their new avatar is just disgusting in a good way? Oh, you mean you want to politely tell them that they don't have a nice avatar? I'm fluent in gibberish. 100% that counts. Does anybody still speak Pig Latin? Do you remember when we were kids and everyone was like, oh my god, like Pig Latin is like the coolest thing, and everyone who could speak Pig Latin was like, oh my god? Or if you were a kid in like the 90s, 2000s, and watched the show Zoom, they had a language called like, wasn't it called like Wubby Dubby? Or Wubba Dubba, or something like that. And that was a whole language you could learn how to speak. English is my second language, is better than my first language, yeah. Oh my god, Zoom, yeah! I didn't watch Zoom all the time. My friend was more into Zoom than I was, I think, because I didn't have the proper channel to watch it. But yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was like Wubby Dubby or something, and then if you could speak that. I heard that is the case with people who are usually bilingual, that probably like whatever language you use most, it's kind of like a use it or lose it, isn't it? But yeah, it's like someone from Jared died. Oh, I don't know enough about like the Zoom lore to know about them. S-Y-I-A, definitely day. Yeah, as way want it. Yeah, Pig Latin. See, little Penguini can speak Pig Latin. Penguini's Pig Latin. I love it. I'm Puerto Rican, so our Pig Latin was adding chi before each syllable. I love that. Bruh, not even close, dude. Your avatar is as great as the earth is flat. Her back is, if my avatar is bad, you could just say that you don't have to call me out in front of the entire chat like this. Oh no, Phalanx! Oh, I got a cute crush on him. Yeah, yours is cute. Inkway. Oh, that's so good. I don't know. I guess in a way though, like, is this person... My avatar is adorable, so I know he's not talking about me. I guess, like, if, I don't know. Hi, Masher, how are you? I'm also Puerto Rican, and it's hilarious because I went to my half-brother's wedding a couple years back, and I had not a damn clue what anyone was saying. The entire time I just nodded and agreed with everything. That's like when I went to a friend's wedding, or like a family friend's wedding, and it was in a church, and every like, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes, we had to stand up and like do a prayer, and me and my brother were just sitting there like, what do we do? I don't know. Like everyone was saying like the Lord's Prayer, and we just went like, Amen. And that was how we got through that. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. I don't know when I'm supposed to sit. I don't know when I'm supposed to stand. I don't understand how this works. But yeah, so we just like whispered back and forth to each other, and then went, you know, it's like when you don't know the words to your like to a song, and everyone's singing along, and you're just like, yeah, okay, nah, 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 and they go, yeah, and like when the chorus hits, you like absolutely are like, I know this part. That's like me with any sort of religious doctrination. I'm just like, amen. Hey, crushed it, you know? Your avatar is as good as the films. Doing okay? Okay, well, okay is better than not okay, even if it's not fabulous. We appreciate a middle of the road day sometimes. My family speaks Vietnamese and I struggle understanding Vietnamese. Oh yeah. I know sometimes people can like understand speaking or like understand written, but not one or the other sometimes. Again, it depends on like how often you fluently use it. Spanish mass takes like 3 hours. It's crazy. Really? Wow. Oh my god, I had to go to a Catholic wedding and my sister and I just started losing it about 10 minutes in. I was on the floor of the pews trying to stifle my laughter. No! Oh man. But if you say, hey mate, what's up? I understand. Right? Yeah. Because that's the thing too, like even just within the English language, there's different like dialects and vernaculars and like different words for different things. Like even so much as like growing up in like Northern Ontario versus Southern Ontario, like you would call there were certain like colloquialisms that you would then be like, I don't know what that means. Even though you speak the same language or are in the same country, there's still differences. You know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, your Avatar is like that, but the film adaptation. Jesus, so many poggers here. I'll just DM them straight. Oh, I'm interested in knowing what happens. I speak it fluently, my parents don't know English. Oh yeah. Do you have to be like do you end up having to translate a lot of stuff for them? Yeah, Alabama has very specific words. We say the C word a lot. Like C-U-N-T word? Oh, in Australia. Yeah, you do. Same in Britain. Britain seems to love that word as well, which is so funny because to me that's like, in North America, it's supposedly like that's like the S tier offensive swear word, but like Britons and Aussies just like dish that shit out willy-nilly. It's very interesting. Alabama has very specific words for here, like buggy for grocery cart. Yeah. As a magic 8 ball, if your avatar was great, it said don't count on it, sorry. It is, yeah, LOL, yeah. It wasn't until I started speaking to people online in other countries that I realized I shouldn't. Yeah, right? Yeah, I've heard of that as well. C word is one of my faves. Don't cut me off driving. Yeah, exactly. Because it just feels like the most cutting. I think like any words that have like hard emphasizing letters, I think that's why that's why the F word is so, like it feels so powerful because it has like the K word, you know what I mean? Like anything that has like a really abrasive sound seems to be like, it feels like the most aggressive. Whereas like shit is like, I don't know, because it's like the sh sound, I don't know, it just feels like a lamer, quieter version than like one that hits you with like a CK, you know? I have a visitor soon, gotta go. No problem, Masher, I appreciate you stopping by, even just for a little bit. We got a raid out soon anyway, guys. It's 6 o'clock, time has flown by. Give me strength, sending you all the strength. You wanna be genuine? Just be like, hey man, I don't know who designed your avatar, but or you can just say, hey, I liked your previous avatar better. Like, just be like, oh, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, you can be like, oh, or interesting choice of new avatar, because it's interesting. Interesting is sort of like an ambiguous word for, it's like when you say LOL at the end of a bad sentence, like, hey, this sucks, LOL. Like, it lessens the blow a little bit, maybe. Crunch. Yeah. Exactly. Crunch is a very, crunch. Like, that's like a powerful sound. Crunch is a powerful sound. Crunch. You know what I mean? Definitely had to transfer my parents growing up. Even now, I still do it on the daily. I don't even live with them anymore. Oh, wow. Still, eh? What I find absolutely hilarious is I swear so frequently that not only do people not take offense to it when I just heard 5 different swear words in the same sentence, but somehow they made it to a rule at work not to swear because I do it so often. Truck. Yeah. Saul, you're just reaffirming my statement. Words that have a CK or like a, you know what I mean? Just like a hard C sound are like powerful words. I'm saying, you know how the sequel is better than the original? Yeah, it's not in the case with your avatar. Ooh, that's actually a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. To be fair, sequels aren't usually better than originals. There's very few that are. Cricket, that one's not as intense. But still, yeah. Most of the people I game with online told me off for swearing, that I realized I'm doing it. I feel more confident around people who cuss. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Crick. Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking, isn't crikey, is that just, I feel like, Penguini, is that a stereotype? Do Aussies actually say crikey? Crikey. Or is that just a Steve Irwin thing? You know what I mean? Because crikey, I don't know, is that still, yeah, no. Exactly, yeah, it's not a thing. Yeah, because that one also would have then the hard C word. If that's just a Steve Irwin thing. That's fair. That's fair. Crick, pick. Yeah, exactly. Pick. But you gotta like put emphasis on it. You know what I mean? Wow, guys. Prick is another good word. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Aussies like that one as well, actually. Or not Aussies, Brits. Brits like that one as well. We do it to stereotype him. Oh, yeah. That's like everyone saying A all the time. Being like, ooh, there, buddy, I'm off to get a moose down here at the Timmy's A. You know, that's when we're trying to be very stereotypically Canadian. I have the ultimate word, tash. That doesn't have a hard CH. It's not the right one. That's not a very, to be fair, that is a powerful word. Very powerful. Very top tier. S tier, top tier word. Yeah, fucking yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, guys, this has been so much fun. We've had such a fun afternoon. Alas and alack, guys, it is 6 p.m. It is, in fact, past 6 p.m. How many stitches did we do? How many stitches have I completed? Did I even tie this off properly? I did. Okay, I didn't imagine this. I actually did do what I was supposed to do. We did 125 stitches today! That's good. We completed the goal of doing over 100 stitches. I was a bit uncertain because we were just having such a good time chittily chattling. I'm gonna go around, stub my toe, and shout, holy tash, son of a tash. Yeah, son of a tash. Actually, speaking of, you know what's a fun word? Succotash. I feel like that was like an old-timey thing that like cartoons would say. You know, like Bugs Bunny, suffer and succotash. What is a succotash? What is a succotash? It's a fun word, I'll tell you that much. I don't know what it means. Couldn't tell you what it means. What do you call your McDonald's? Oh, Mickey D's. I call it Mickey D's. Some people call it Mackey's though. Do you guys call it Mackey's? Do Brits call it Mackey's? I'm not sure. Have you not adopted that in your brand yet? Suffer and succotash. Tashus Christ. Yeah, is it Macca's? Yeah, okay, so you guys, so Aussies call it Macca's, Brits call it Mackey's. I've always called it Mickey D's, and I don't know if that's a Canadian thing or if that's just a within my personal zeitgeist thing. A cooked dish of kernels and corn mixed with shell beans, especially lima beans, and often with greens and sweet red peppers. Succotash. Oh, that's interesting. So it's a type of food. Suffer and succotash means like, so then that statement, the literal emphasis of that statement, suffer and succotash, means like, what a shitty meal, essentially, right? What a crappy cooked dish of kernels of corn. That's interesting. Succotash. Suffer and succotash means like this is a pitiful cooked dish of corn, I guess. The literal meaning of that. You say Mickey D's as well? Okay, interesting. Phonetic, not how you spell it usually. Yeah. We actually have Macca's signs. Oh, interesting. For Macca's. Interesting, interesting. Right. Does anyone have any raid suggestions? We're about ready to McDonald's. That's so interesting. I guess because it's like that's the colloquial saying, so you might as well embrace it. That's probably good marketing on McDonald's part. To be like, we're going to embrace the Macca's. All right. Let's see which fabulous friends are online, and we'll go. Double the raid, give it to the next person. Yeah, yesterday we actually had a double raid. Yeah, Shadow, I'm sorry, my dude. I cannot give you chocolate covered, whatchamacallits. Look who decided to stick his puppy nose into the business. Hello, sir. Yes, hello. No, you cannot have chocolate covered, whatchamacallits. They're not good for you. Yeah, not for you. Tashus Christ. Yeah. Yeah. Can we keep it as a phrase? Yeah, Tashus Christ. You know what I mean? And then we can all pray at the altar of Tashus Christ, and I can then say amen at the end and like really nail it, you know? Tashus Christ. Whoa. And then actually it would be good because then we're not saying the Lord's name in vain, so that's gotta count for something, right? You know what I mean? We're like actually doing a good thing by switching it from saying Jesus Christ as like a damn I stubbed my toe Jesus Christ to saying Tashus Christ, because now we're not taking the Lord's name in vain. So in fact, we've just hacked the system. Oh, your lives disappeared too? Mine still seem to be on, which is interesting. But yeah, Satchel Max is online. Let's go and see Satchel Max. Because we did see Libby last time, and I think Libby was raiding out the last time we went to go see them. Stash! It's true. Can I now also say, oh, what else can we now also say? Yeah. Yeah. This is my Tash stash. Tashus, take the wheel. Take it from my hands. 'Cause I can't do this on my own. Any Carrie Underwood stands still? I don't know if anyone still stands Carrie Underwood. But yeah. All right. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing either. I don't know what. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, she's okay, right? It's true. I don't think I know any of her music since that, what is it? The one that I don't even know her last name. You know what I mean? What is it? Is it just called Last Name? That's a good song. Kelly Clarkson, oh, 100% Kelly Clarkson stan for days and years. I've not listened to her music since her third album, but still stand forever. But yeah, okay. Guys, let's go and see Satchel Max. Let's go and hang out. Who the fuck is Carrie Underwood? She is one of the winners of American Idol. Actually, let me find out the exact season of American Idol she won. I think she was one of the last ones to win when American Idol still actually guaranteed that you were gonna have a decent career. 4th season of American Idol, she won. Yeah, she was the 4th season. Are people over the Underwood? Yeah, people might be over the Underwood. Okay, I'm also going to include, because Saul gave me this brilliant idea of including the link to the raid we're going to, because sometimes it's rude, Twitch is rude and likes to leave people behind, and we don't want we want no viewers left behind. That is my platform at which no viewers left behind. But yes, let's go and see Satchel Max. They're working on something. They're working on something crafty. And we would like to go and see them be crafty. So let's do that. Oh, something went wrong. Interesting. I am one of those who always get left behind. Oh, really? Yeah, Phalanx was getting left behind quite a bit too, actually, which was really annoying. But I think... Oh, wow. Something's really going wrong with the raids. It's like not letting it happen. Yeah, Twitch is being a silly goose right now. We might not have the ability to raid. Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe now it's back. Come on, Twitch, sort your shit out. We want to go raid. No silly goosing on my watch, please. Okay, it looks like it's happening. It looks like it's happening. If anyone gets left behind, my apologies. We tried our best. We're gonna go see Satchel Max, see what they're making. They've asked a question of the day. I'm not sure what the question is, but we're gonna go find out and answer that question. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. We will be back here tomorrow doing the same thing right here. Have an amazing evening. Bye.